We're for sure going to be live when I hit live, which I've already done.
Oh, a couple seconds ago.
We're here.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Friday night. We have Luis with us again. Luis, how have you been?
I've been
Matt, what's up, buddy?
I've been wonderful. Yeah, guys, welcome back to the Nerdattude movie podcast, where we like to spoil movies. So if you haven't seen them, surprise.
Sorry.
I mean, they've been out for a little bit.
But yeah, and my cats are fighting again. But yeah, we're back.
Go piss on them. You got to show alpha.
It is just about the end of the month, and we have 2 newer movies for you.
Newish.
Even though they were last year.
It was during the pandemic, though, so none of that matters. It was like a fucking purple haze.
But ironically, they both did pretty good numbers. But yeah, so we're doing Candyman, the 2021 version, and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Not Before Life.
And there's only ever been
the pre.
There's only ever been 3 Ghostbusters movies.
Yes.
One,
Only
2,
3.
and this one, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess before we jump into
the fourth Musketeer is indeed back.
I haven't been on the podcast for a while.
I don't remember why you weren't out. I don't remember what Giovanni said last time.
I didn't have one last time.
He was recuperating when he was back from.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
No.
It was
Remember,
his
he
wife's
was
birthday.
dressed as Dumbledore and giving kids welcome letters.
That's
giving really ill kids who are going to die welcome letters to Hogwarts.
Children.
That's what you were doing last time.
What am I, like a pedophile, but patches?
So,
no, you thought you were doing well, but you were really just teasing these poor terminal children.
Yeah.
So you were Spider-Man at the kids' hospital taking his mask off.
Sure, you can see my face. You'll never live
doing the like. Don't worry, you'll be like me when you grow up.
He literally is checking their chart before he gives them one. Oh, you get one. It's like World War II. He's marking the red X or the green plus.
Yeah.
He's like, you get one. Timmy in the back. You're going tomorrow. You're going tomorrow.
Buddy, you're going to see Hogwarts. Fuck, you're coming with me tonight, pal. We're going. Take a pamphlet. You don't got a lot of time to read it.
Is Vet saying what a jerk about the Spider-Man thing where he unmasks? Or
no, I'm pretty sure the Dumbledore lying to terminal children thing probably took the cake in this case. I am Professor Dumbledore, and none of you will make it out of here alive.
You're the boy who lived, but not for long.
Yes. You've lived long enough to see this one ride I'll take you on. All right, I'm just saying, tell me there wouldn't have been a cool fucking scene in the Harry Potter movies, like, before Dumbledore died, if he would have just wrecked shit. If, like, Helen Bohemian Carter and a couple of the other ones ganged up on him.
Carter.
Whatever the fucker. Bohem? I don't even fucking know.
Bonham.
That bitch that's in every Tim Burton movie for the past 30 years. Wouldn't it be cool if they ganged up on him and he's like, none of you will make it out of here. And he just fucked them up. I guess maybe the new movies with what's-his-face playing him will have some more Dumbledore.
Colin Farrell? No.
He's the other one that was popular. The British Jude Law, who is handsomely rugged.
Nice beard.
You mean if it wasn't such a giant pussy? Who's a giant pussy? Man with no background. He's got a background. He's got 2 backgrounds. By the way, I know we are talking about Candyman. It's the first thing we're doing. That Candyman dude in your background, Alex. Mm-hmm. Fuck that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I get it, and we'll talk about this in a second. I don't care if he was just giving kids candy. He's in a fucking hole in the wall.
Yes.
Like, fuck, he's got a fucking hook. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I know that scene where he comes out of the hole in the wall is
No, he
disturbing.
throws the candy to get the
Like,
attention.
I get it,
It's
right?
so
It's one of the many examples of racial injustice that spawns Candyman, and we'll talk about my opinion on that. But just the premise of just like no politics, no bias, fuck that guy.
I also like how it's not like a small hole in the wall. Like that's
No.
clearly a
He's
room
been pickaxing
where
it.
people know like Skeet McDiddums like hides in that wall.
Only two things that happen in that hole: overdoses and grapings. That's it. But that's what we're talking about. Go ahead, Lewis.
No, I was gonna say before we jump into the hole in the wall, what have you guys been up to or watching? I haven't been watching a lot of movies in the last couple weeks, but I have been watching the show Euphoria on HBO.
Is it any good? Do you see anything of Zendaya?
No, she looks like a stick, so that's
She's
kinda
very
weird.
skinny.
No, it's actually a really good show. I'm more interested in the way the show's filmed because it's filmed really well, and because just coming off of when we watched Punch Drunk Love, like the director Sam Neill, or whoever the fuck his name is, like the dude knows how to use color in every shot. Like it's fucking insane. Even if you don't care about the show or drama or teens, I'd say check out like certain episodes.
So, am I off base that it's like rated R Degrassi? Or is it more complex?
Yeah, it's more complex because there's like there's like fucked up adult shit too.
I know. I heard a snippet about something of somebody having sex with a tranny, and that's a storyline throughout season 1.
Yeah, it's got like Zendaya's not really the main character. It focuses on a bunch of people, and it's
which is
like,
great because all right.
It's a really fucked up show.
That says I need to watch now.
But no, it's good. I mean, it's an HBO drama. So, but no, like the dude, whoever created the show or directs it, like just coming off of watching Punk Drunk Love, like uses color awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been watching that, and then my nightly ritual is playing Elden Ring while listening to Game of Thrones audiobooks, which I find makes my wife fall asleep very fast.
And that's how you get more Elden Ring time?
Yep. Other than that, just been reading books, and that's about it. Pretty lame.
Whittling, things of that nature.
Yeah. Jerking off.
My shit's been simple.
Dumping loads anywhere.
Everywhere and anywhere.
Spider-Man everywhere. Oh, I watched Spider-Man. That was a good movie. And also the sperm joke in that movie was hilarious.
I think we all watched Spider-Man this week.
We need to review it.
Yeah.
Because I really dug that movie. Giovanni was on point.
So I got that Spider-Man, of course. I watched Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
I need to check that out.
It's good.
I liked it. It's funny. It's fucking funny.
So I will say I wish Ryan Reynolds would play something other than himself. Like, can I have a bad guy? Like, if I want Ryan Reynolds to be the bad guy, keep the sarcasm, the funny lines and everything, but make him just terribly violent and vicious. Like, let him throw his one-liners out as he's ripping out people's throats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real. Like, give me a little bit of a different flavor of Ryan Reynolds, because at this point, it's all vanilla.
Yeah, give me a this is gonna be controversial. Give me a Die Hard remake.
Ooh.
Nicolas Cage is Bruce Willis.
Oh, what?
And there's two Hans Grubers. There's Ryan Reynolds and Paul Rudd.
No,
okay.
No.
And Samuel Jackson is the love interest.
Are you gonna let
Nicolas Cage?
You're gonna let Paul Feig direct that one too?
His job.
I want to watch that new Nicolas Cage movie.
So do I. He's gonna win an Oscar for that, or at least be nominated. I want to see it as well. I think actually, if you did remake Die Hard, Ryan Reynolds at this point is the proper age for it. Like, he's in his 40s now. I think he would be the perfect John McClane. However, he's in a little bit too good of shape. Like, if he played John McClane, there would have to be...
go on a bender?
No, there'd have to be jokes about him being so fit. Where it's like, what, I like to run.
That's
or,
right.
you know, like shit like that or something. Like, because you couldn't have ripped-ass Ryan Reynolds as your everyday John McClane. Like, there would have to be something to explain why he's so good in shape.
Like the joke in Candyman, put down the weights and pick up a paintbrush.
Yeah, I like that.
Because dude's so fucking built.
He's a good actor too. I really like that guy.
He really was jacked. He's in better shape than fucking John Jones is. Like if you look at the main, whatever his name, the main character who I don't like in the fucking Candyman movie, he's in like really. I don't like his character. I like him as an actor.
I don't know how to say his name.
I hate his fucking character.
Yala Abdul Mateen.
Not gonna try. Isn't his name Anderson or something in the movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Anthony. Yeah.
Anthony. There you go.
How could you forget?
I don't pay attention to names in movies. It's the one detail I don't give two fucks about.
I think it's Yahya Abdul Mateen.
It's Yaya. Yeah, that's Yaya.
His cousin No did not make it.
He died.
Oh,
He was
no,
at
no,
the
no.
Voldemort charity that I was at.
And
The
last
Halo
thing
show is out now, Vet says.
Don't watch it,
Yeah.
it's terrible. And we're moving on.
the last thing I'm watching is I'm continuing with Titans, the first season, trying to finish that up.
How is it?
I like it. It's dark. It's got the whole fucking kill, blood, fucking everywhere, the violence and shit that you're looking for in a superhero shit. But if everybody keeps thinking like, oh, it's Teen Titans, no, it's not Teen Titans. It's the characters that are from Teen Titans.
Are they
But
teenagers?
Nah, I think
Are they
two of them.
Titans?
I think two of them are supposed to be.
Do they still wear boxer briefs or briefs?
But they've got Wonder Girl in there. They've got
Wonder
Dick
Girl.
Grayson, the new Robin's
Yeah,
in there.
it's kind of like them like on their own, like
Right.
right? Like
And I guess eventually you do meet a Bruce Wayne character in like the later seasons, but
I want to check it out. I didn't get into the Marvel shows. I still want to watch them. But the reason I didn't get into them is because like superhero TV shows, it's really hard for me to get into. And also my attention span, like when I know something's a trilogy, I'm just like, just give me one movie, please.
I would rather watch Daredevil now that it's out on Disney Plus than any other Marvel show out there.
Well, I was
I
gonna say,
thought you were
so
gonna finish that Daredevil with fucking Ben Affleck. I was gonna say what?
Hey,
I-
have you seen the unrated version of that movie?
the unrated
It's
is
not
pretty
a
good.
bad
good.
fucking
It's
movie.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
I'm really excited for Moon Knight. Really excited.
Hopefully it's good. I don't know. I always hate when people start running their mouths right before the release of anything. My opinion, if you're the director, just shut the fuck up. Let your product come out. Let it speak for
It's also
itself.
true.
You don't need to be
His
dogging other
job,
people's
his
products.
job doing the directing is already done.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any business dogging anybody else's product. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't. Your product's unproven. Does it look cool? Hopefully, will it be good? Yes. Might be a piece of shit. We don't know.
That's
So
true.
how about
It hasn't been released
how about
yet.
you shut
Yeah.
your fucking mouth until your product comes out? When you get your critical acclaim and you have a little bit of a clout, then run your fucking mouth. But until then, shut up. And I don't care if it's a competing company you're talking about. Shut the fuck up.
Vet says Luke Cage was underrated. I agree. I like Luke Cage.
I never watched Luke Cage, but I saw a
didn't
clip
like
of
Luke
it not
Cage.
too long ago.
Oh no, not Luke
And it
Cage.
made
I'm
me
sorry.
wanna
I did
watch
like
it.
Luke Cage. No, Luke Cage is underrated.
I saw a clip where he
what's the
walked
other
into
one?
a restaurant and he punches him and breaks his hand and the bone comes through. And I was
Yeah,
like, damn, that's pretty rough.
The
Still,
Iron Fist
the best one
was
out of all of
terrible.
them was Iron Fist. No, I'm
Yeah.
just
No,
kidding.
that was
I can't say that
terrible.
seriously.
Yeah, Lewis
Oh
thought
my
Iron
God.
Fist was a new toy for him.
So bad.
It's still
I'll
in
go.
the box.
Anthony, I don't know if you've noticed or if you've heard, but I've recently accepted my viewing of Blacklist. So I'm going through Blacklist. I began with not
I've-
knowing why I was watching it.
I wanted to
Now I'm
check out
watching it.
Blacklist because I love James Spader.
I do want to watch
And
it.
he's-
However,
he's
okay, so
good.
wait, do you love James Spader or do you love Robert California? Let's be real.
No, I really
James
do like
Spader.
James.
I like
Spader.
James Spader, but I want James
but the
Spader as
problem-
Robert California in
the
other
problem is-
roles. I don't know why.
Now knowing Robert California, every time I see James Spader, I just picture him as Robert California. So it's ruined James Spader for
You
me.
don't even know my fucking name. I love that quote. That is the single best quote in that entire season.
So we've been watching that, and my wife and I have decided to power through the entire Marvel collection, including
in
the
5
shows
years.
By
in release order.
By
So-
saying your wife and I, you meant that you're forcing her to watch these with you.
No,
She sleeps
No,
while
she
he
likes
rolls
the
on.
noise.
it's actually the other way around because I don't watch a Marvel movie unless it's a new one.
What's
because
up, Crash?
I have to power through them. I have to. It's
I-
an OCD thing.
I would
Like,
love
have do
to,
it.
but that's just so much time. Like, and for me, like, hey, Jen, you want to watch Iron Man this weekend? We'll try to watch the first one.
The first one's good though.
It's no, I love all the Iron Man movies. I even like the second one.
I do too.
People hate the second one, and if you go back and watch it, it is kind of just of like a dumb action movie. But I dig it. Like, I don't hate those movies, but honestly, after Winter Soldier, I was kind of checked out. Like, Civil War was okay, and then you had all of the shit with Endgame and everything, and it was like, I don't know, man. I liked the movies. I still like the movies. I love Spider-Man. But I am just so tired of the fucking fans. And the like this like cult like fucking like, oh, Marvel. It's like, you
fans of
are
anything
45.
The
You
fans
have
of
2
anything are what
kids.
ruin
Fans of Marvel and fans of wrestling suck ass.
They really
That's what I'm
do.
saying. Fans
Both
are
both
usually
parties.
what ruin the franchises. It's the fans.
Like, I get,
So-
I'm not saying don't enjoy things you love, but like at a certain point, understand it is a fucking entertainment medium. Like, draw the line, buddy. Like, and look, Alex is right. Wrestling
What if you
fans
have
are
no
even
hands?
worse.
Can you
Yeah.
still draw a line?
You got toes? Do it in the sand. I don't give a fuck. Figure it out. I didn't lose your hands for you. I wasn't born with them. I'm not God. I just have excuses for one thing. I don't know why I would be blamed for him not having hands.
Wrestling
this
is
is
very,
not on me.
very real fake.
Well, wrestling fans are psychotic. Wrestling fans literally fucking, for a couple weeks in the summer of 1997, fought in their buddy's indie fucking backyard wrestling ring, and he got a belt, so he's still on Facebook talking about the good old days. It's like, you fucking incel. Because that's what it is.
They are the alternate universe version of dudes still, or of guys still with their Letterman jackets from high school.
Okay.
Except these guys didn't have Letterman jackets. They were the guys going, yeah, nah, if I wanted to, I could fucking whatever, bro. That's that's
You
them.
better walk away.
Yeah, like, yeah, I was gonna kick his ass, but he walked away. He was whatever. It's like, those are the dudes that would literally talk shit about the jocks, because rather than going into the gym and putting on some fucking muscle, they just flap their gums. And then the wrestling fans weren't even smart enough, like the nerds, to go get fucking intellectual, learn things, have some sort of skill. No, they just run their mouth about good old days that never existed and debate who's a bigger asshole, Jim Cornette or the other one. So it's like, every time I see that Facebook page, I just want to burn the entire fucking world down.
The TH one, the TH one.
Oh, I want to find the IP address and just figure out how to blow that guy's computer up. And his cell phone. They gotta both go. It's like Terminator, both chips.
You went at them for like a good, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, they're fucking stupid. The problem is like, they talk wrestling, and it's like, that's your lane. I'm not going to interrupt. That's you. That's your spectrum is that. Then you start bringing in other things, and you're just ignorant to them. And I'm reading it, and I was like, these guys are just, fuck these guys. And then I ended up commenting.
Yeah.
It was progressive. It was to the point where I read it a couple times, and I'm just kind of like, Lewis is setting the mood. I've been on the FBI radar since 2003, unrelated to 9/11.
We got to scrub this episode now.
Can you imagine, like, new recruits come in and are like, who's that guy? We don't talk about him.
Yeah. Who's that kid? Don't ask. What? You don't want to know who he is. I'm over here like playing a Game Boy. I'm no threat. I know. Who do you think I work for? Fuck, Vet's in the FBI. I knew it. His wife's CIA.
Out of the
It was a
pictures on the wall of
coincidence?
wanted
No.
people, everybody's serious, and Matt's picture is like,
Yeah. Why give him the serious look? Just give him the. Not even looking at the camera. Vet, I'm sorry if you're my personalized FBI agent. That gotta be pretty fucked up conversations you have to read through on the average, huh? Wouldn't want to have your job.
Can you imagine the fucking stacks of fucking paperwork that's lined up that you have to read through?
Mhm.
Well, on this day, he said this about a school.
This pile is
No,
just all dick.
No,
pics.
there's literally a file this thick, and every paper said, while driving in his car, he said.
Yeah.
We got 3 bins full of him talking about
Yeah.
fucking clarified butter. You don't want to know about this guy.
It's one of those things where the rookie comes in, and the older dude's just like slams the file down, and the rookie, he's like, it's not that bad, and he's like, that's just last week. And the guy's like, what?
What's
And
this
then-
clarified butter? Is this code for something?
Yeah. Is clarified butter a Russian accent? I can't fucking tell. He talks about it a lot. It's literally me just on stream. You know, I used clarified butter for my omelet this weekend. He's like, what the fuck is the omelet? What's the omelet? Okay, we're reviewing a movie.
All right.
Only
so yeah,
2 hot
we'll,
dogs for JFK.
We will jump into it. So the first movie we're reviewing is Candyman, the 2021.
We've already said it
version.
like 4 times. We have to be careful.
But
'cause
you're not looking in the
theoretically,
mirror.
well,
Oh, shit, yeah.
Can
we
you
are
see the
look-
reflection?
you can see yourself.
I can't see.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
shit! I can't see
You
myself.
can see yourself now, can't you?
isn't it a
It's a
reflection,
window to the
technically?
soul.
Mm-hmm.
We're all
Wait, is
gonna
it-
die.
Is it 4? Is it 4 times?
They said
5.
5, but in the original, I think it was
5
3.
times.
I thought the original was 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. We're all gonna die.
What,
They just
I was
added
trying
the
to
2
press
hot dogs.
Bloody Mary. That's 3 times, right?
Bloody Mary's. I
Bloody
thought
Mary's 3.
Candyman was though too.
Well, isn't Bloody Mary 3 times staring in a mirror with the lights off?
With a candle
Yeah,
or
and it's
lights off.
it's also that like every time you've ever heard it in movies, it's always been like Bloody Mary, but it's always got that tempo too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Lewis does have several cats. Yes.
That's just a stray that got through the window.
I do. What did someone see one in the background?
They're just crawling in through a channel they've dug through the house. It's like, what the fuck? I thought I was putting steel wool, but I guess it's just
And they're-
mice that can't get through
They're
that.
sitting there chewing the Ethernet cable.
Fucking cats, bastards of the sea.
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about Candyman. So this movie was directed by Nia DiCosta. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Runtime of 91 minutes. Also, this came out last August. Budget of $25 million, and obviously this was a movie that came out during the pandemic, but still actually made pretty good money. It made
So I-
77.4 million.
I want to say I don't know how necessarily it cost that much, considering you would have had to imagine they used the CineSpace shit, which from where they were filming is 20 minutes.
I don't know. I mean, I wonder nowadays what's the equivalent of like low budget versus like
I would.
a medium budget movie.
I mean, this. Well, see, that's the thing, though. Is once again, you got to go back to the example of like, Invisible Man was under 10 million.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine that
It's
CGI played a fairly large factor in the budget for this one. They did
That's
market
probably
it. They
where
did
most of
market
the
it
money
pretty
goes.
heavily too.
it's also they're hiring those young and hungry people that are actually really good. Like I was telling Matt, 2 of the people that I've noticed in the makeup department were from the TV show Face Off. They're still up and coming. They're making their shit.
Which, by the way, the CG and the physical gore violence quenched a thirst I haven't had. Like every movie, especially because we watch a lot of lower tier horror. I won't even say B movie because what is B movie anymore? Everything's direct to DVD because everything's streaming services and shit. But the gore was great. The physical effects were great. The CG. I mean, one of my favorite kill in the entire goddamn movie is Alex and I were talking about this earlier. Is the critic in the circular
When
tower?
it pans out.
Oh,
right?
that was such a
Yes.
beautiful fucking shot of just you. And here's the thing: us being horror movie quote unquote enthusiasts knew something was coming. But if you're not, if you're on a date and that happens, dude, just the idea of as it slowly pans, it begins and you see her twist and then he fucking rubs her on the window.
Yeah.
Incredible shot.
it was great.
I watched this movie last night late at night. I stayed up late to watch it. I do have some problems. Some are with the movie itself, some are with its ideology. But I want to let you guys go ahead first. I don't want to sour shit, and I'm not trying to be negative. These are just there are some little issues I had with it.
So just real quick to say something about the kill that you were talking about. That's the Chrysler Tower, right?
Is that what it's? I just know it's House of
called the
Blues is
Chrysler
right below.
Towers.
I
It's
just
the
remember. Here's the thing. as I watch that scene, I'm also getting memories of being in high school and looking up when I'm at House of Blues at those towers, and I was just like, there was a lot of being a Chicago kid, both born and raised on the north side, living on the south side for the past whatever years it's been, 6 or whatever years I've lived here. It is kind of cool. There is a lot of shit because a lot of those were like the laundromat has to be south of 55th. Wherever the fuck that laundromat is, it's just like the laundromat tilings over here. Mm-hmm. And those don't really start until my head wants to say 63rd or so. I don't know what street, but
they're all silver now. They don't look like that.
Yeah, but some of them, silver. Some of them out here still do. So I was able to I don't know where they. I want to look that up. I'm gonna bet it's south of 63rd Street, whatever street it's on. But I did dig the scenery. I mean, some of the shots in this, it's a beautiful movie. I did appreciate, there's the shot where it's just the Dearborn Bridge as he walks past that giant church. I appreciated the natural lighting. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that is filmed downtown like that and not used a blue tint. Like, the coloration you saw in film is the coloration you see walking through that area with the yellow streetlights and shit they have, which I thought was really nice, because if you ever pay attention, after the 80s movies, any movie shot downtown, there's a tint to it. It's not the natural downtown color, which I really did appreciate that. I thought that was kind of neat.
I think it was nighttime when they shot that, right?
Like dusk.
I think that's what it is, because in downtown it always has like a fog over it now, like when you're outside.
That's the homeless people's problem.
Yeah, so and for anyone who's not seen the original Candyman, this is kind of a
now
not
we're
really
all
remake sequel of the 1992 one.
I think these things need to be called series reboot sequels, because this movie, it is directly tied to the lore of the first at least. So which by the way pissed me off as I'm watching the movie. I'm like, wait, the whole story behind Candyman is police violence? That's really
and it's
this guy? That pissed me off until they revealed that the lore connected to everything else. The whole time I'm like, why would you trade in the original story for this shallow shit? And then once I was like, oh, okay.
If you're familiar with the Books of Blood, the story, The Forbidden, is not really in that vein, but the analogy of Candyman is the original story set in Liverpool, but it's in an impoverished area. So I mean, the whole play on Candyman is it's like something ghetto and unknown, and it's even in the original story, it's like a uppity white chick who's like disgusted by the area she's in. And obviously the 1992 movie played with that as well, but turned it into Tony Todd. And I think the allegory for what they chose and Chicago and Cabrini Green kind of all fit together cohesively. I do think there's things with this movie though that I didn't like that they did, but one thing the one reason I really appreciate this movie is because all of these new sequel remakes that are coming out, if you've seen Scream, they make fun of it, but they all are like, let's remake the movie for new audience. We need to use these legacy characters. We need to shove them in people's faces. I think this movie they use legacy characters in a really tasteful way. Like obviously,
well, who's other legacy characters besides the cameo of Tony Todd?
Well, Tony Todd, I mean the mention of Helen and kind of her backstory.
Okay.
And
I would have liked to seen kind of a cameo of something, or had her play the critic lady, like some sort of throwback to
the friend who is actually Momo, get down, who's actually Anthony's mom. But I liked that. Like it's cool. I liked Halloween and Texas Chainsaw was cool. And Scream made fun of itself but did the same fucking thing. But like, if you're gonna make it again and different, don't shove like those old characters in my face. Like, do it tastefully. Like, a lot of people were mad that Tony Todd had a brief cameo at the end. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah,
I don't need Tony Todd through the whole film.
You know what? Go ahead. Because I don't want to, like, I do really like the movie. I gotta, I guess, preface everything, but I did have some issues. So, I thought the ending of this movie, man, like, I love a movie that it brings you to a fucking height and then it just ends. But it was in such a good way that I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
that was a cool
appreciate it.
fucking
I was
ending.
like, it was essentially blue balls, but in a good way.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would argue that you don't see Candyman until that scene. Like, you really don't see Candyman until the end of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you do,
But
but
I can go on about the movie. So Giovanni, Alex, what do you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I liked how it's a little different from the original Candyman, where there was like the killings were happening in the reflection, versus you can't see them in
I really like
front of
that.
you, because they can't see what's coming to them, but you can look to the side and see the reflection that you're about to die. So that was I was digging that shit.
Also, the original is more of a love story. Like Tony Todd
It
just
was.
really wants to fuck Helen in the first movie.
you know, is there a movie that Tony Todd's ever been in where you didn't get the impression he wanted to fuck somebody? I mean, even in The Rock. I don't listen to that
He's
pussy
kinda-
shit.
He's
TV
kind of
show
just
Chuck.
got this like vibrato to him, like that's his thing. But also, there's
He walks into a room, I don't know who it is, but somebody's getting fucked tonight.
there's another actor in this movie who I kind of wish he played the role of Candyman, and it's Coleman Domingo. Like he's also in Euphoria. He's in a bunch of other stuff I watch. But that dude's voice, like I could listen to him read a book. Like I love his.
He's
fucking
the
voice.
clothes washing machine owner.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
also he's in Euphoria, and he plays a like a sponsor for the main character Rue. And there's an episode where it's just him and her talking about drug addiction, and it's like it's like one of the best written fucking things, and it's mostly him talking for like fucking 60 minutes. But he's a really good actor. I kind of wish he would have been the role for Candyman in here.
That's what I was telling Matt.
Me
That
too.
I like Coleman Domingo, but I think that he plays the same character in a lot of stuff that he does, because he's in Fear of the Walking Dead as well. He plays a Strange.
Another show I just don't watch.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Fear the Walking Dead.
it was good for a while. Later
Just
on,
like The Walking Dead.
in the but this one hits like at the fourth
Just like
season.
my no, just kidding.
But what's good about that Fear of the Walking Dead is by I think by the second season they kill off all the original characters almost. So it's
They're
like,
like, fuck it, we don't want to renew their contracts. We're done. Get them out.
So it's just like
Get them out.
It's like
How many zeros do they want? Get them out.
But Giovanni, what do you think before Matt and I?
I do love this
overreach?
movie. The one thing I was worried about is when they finished the Candyman, the whole thing, like saying Candyman, I thought it was going to take some time for him to come in and really start doing his thing. I love, that it was just
quick.
like, nope, we're starting right now. I love whenever Candyman was on screen, either in the background of Anthony's pictures when he was on screen, or when he saw Candyman in the background of stories, the director did a very good job at keeping, like, I felt the creepy vibe. I felt it when he was on screen. It was very well done. The music was subtle. The look on Anthony's face every time he saw him was like, what the fuck is going on? Like it all blended really well together every time Candyman showed up. I did love that.
Yeah, I agree. And when the marketing for this movie came out, they used Jordan Peele's name, because if you put Jordan Peele's name on a movie now, it's going to get attention. And he helped write the screenplay, and he produced it. But it's directed by this chick who hasn't really done any movies. And I want to see more shit by her, because this movie didn't feel like a Jordan Peele movie. I felt like I was watching an A24 fucking art house horror film. Like it
in moments, the gallery scene where he murders those two, very much so. Yeah,
I went into it expecting something, and I got something else, and I guess that's probably why I like it a lot.
Bet I don't know what you're talking about.
Was it?
Oh, the chat.
Oh.
If you got the stream up, there's a chatters right now.
Fail Ratchet or Rocket. Matt, real quick, you remember the guy that plays the bad guy in The Principal?
Yeah.
So he played in this movie called Five Heartbeats, where he was like the part of this
Wait, is that him?
No, but he
Oh,
looks
it's
just like
he
him.
does look like him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I just looked at the image. I was like, "Fuck! Wait, is that him? No way. It might be him."
No,
You look into
it's
it?
not. Yeah, it's not. His
He
name
does
is,
look like, holy shit, I didn't even pay attention to
His
that.
name is Michael Wright. This
I
is
was
not
so
him.
paying attention to the weird fucking smile that one had, dude.
Yeah.
The Joker smile on him. I was like, holy shit. Real quick, this movie suffers from the same thing, in my opinion, Jordan Peele's movies suffer from. They're not horror movies. These are psychological thrillers. These are not horror movies. Which was a little disappointing. I was hoping there'd be more. While I do agree it had a nice creepy vibe, I don't think a single scene went beyond that. To the point where I'll honestly say that the ultra violence in some of the scenes, which I loved, may have even taken away some of the vibe of horror. Like, by showing as much as they did, maybe it did a slight disservice, but I would have rather had the violence in it than the horror. I really like this movie. I love the way it's shot. I love the violence in it. I think the scenes where Candyman is doing his thing throughout, and you see it in the mirrors. I don't understand why the bathroom scene was there. And this is going to go into my next point, or they're kind of the same point. I didn't appreciate the fact, as a moviegoer of the vanilla face variety, that the entire villainy of this movie is white people. Which, I'm not here to talk politics, I'm not here to talk any of that sort of shit, it is what it is. To the point of, by the end of the movie, she calls upon Candyman to save her from the evil, all-white Southside Chicago police force, and so he can dispatch them so she can get away. And I say in that frame because, as somebody who actually lived on the north side and actually does live on the south side, the police force is anything but all white. But in that final scene, every single officer, all 5 or 6 that he kills, is white. I do have a problem with that messaging in the movie. Now, with that said, it didn't hurt me being able to enjoy the movie. I really did.
Did she get away?
She ran away, yeah. So that's
but
the end.
She was still handcuffed.
Well, I mean,
and the other cops
showed up.
I mean, it would be hard to blame her for that one, though.
In the very end,
yeah.
she's standing in front of that gate, and the cops show up. So in reality, they would have lit her ass up.
See, I don't know if that's true though. Like, and that's my other thing, right? The whole scene, and I get what the point is. I understand the idea behind racial inequity and racial injustice in this countrywide, in the worldwide. I mean, I think one of the big misunderstandings we have as Americans is we talk about race in a very small scope, as in just what happens in this country. But I understand the idea behind these themes, right? I don't like the fact that the movie relied upon the almighty big bad white people to be the catalyst for everything in it. It's just what it is. What it is. They plain old say in the movie it's about white supremacy and fighting white and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they're living in houses on the north side of Chicago that I could never afford. You know, things of that nature. The hypocrisies, as well as using their shallow messages. Like, if they would have presented something deeper to me, as in, like, here's the real, like, if you would have given me a scene that broke down what you're actually trying to say, and then spooled that into the story, that's one thing. But when you're just kind of throwing these out here as like, oh, here's this, and then it's shallow messaging that doesn't quite.
You know, they did try to do that. What you're saying with when he's talking to the critic, and he says, yeah, it's because you guys came in here and gentrified this whole area, and gave it to artists or not or people that can't afford it, and gave them land. And she goes, "Oh, you mean like you?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "The artist that doesn't want to pay anything."
Yeah, but then they doubled back on that scene later on when he says it later, right before he had her killed. Basically, he had her murdered. He is really the bad guy in this fucking movie. Like, you can hate Candyman, but he really, he's the one who's directing the motherfucker.
But is Candyman really bad though when it starts out?
I have a different viewpoint on it, but I think this movie pulls from the first movie in the same essence, because in the first movie, Helen is this white woman coming into fucking 90s Caprini Green, which, I mean, if you can picture back then, was like fucking insane. Any person would be like, why are you going in that area?
I went there once to deliver light fiction.
My dad liked taking us through drives there to humble us, I guess. I don't know.
And in the original movie, even though they added the love story, Candyman was essentially Candyman, even in the original story, is a boogeyman. And in the
I think he's
92
the most
one,
badass in this film, though, out of any of
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
in the 92 one, they stick him in. He's in Caprini Green, so he naturally resonates into the black boogeyman. Like the people of Caprini Green are haunted by him. So I think it's kind of normal for it to roll into you know, racial injustices and all that. But I think actually this movie does a good job of transcending that, because towards the end of the movie, the Candyman essence is going after everyone. And Tony Todd's literal line at the very end is, "Say my name." It's almost like
No, he says tell
he's,
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
tell
tell-
That's
everybody.
the. It's literally tell everyone, and then boom, it ends.
It's
Like, whoa.
almost like he's breaking the just being the black boogeyman. Now it's like, no, spread my name fucking everywhere.
No,
Like
and
I'm no longer gonna be just in this area.
I do appreciate that, right? But if we're, how do I put this without sounding like an asshole? So if we are going to examine every character in movies, right? And this happens in movies all the time, whether it be people accusing Disney of whitewashing or whatever injustice you want to talk about in film, as far as not casting people of color, whatever your case is. If we're going to examine those things, right, then I'm going to examine the movies the same way that they're being examined by others, which to me, and you can, a fair statement to this would be, well, they did this in Hollywood to people of color for years. So, but once again, does that make it right? When I watch a movie like this, where the central line, and here's the thing is, to me, this is why the storyline from the original lineage was so impactful, because it wasn't just like, well, the evil white cops beat him to death. It was Emmett Till. That's where it draws its inspiration from, Emmett Till. That's even the one painting that he's doing early on, where it's Candyman being beaten. That is very reminiscent of Emmett Till, frankly, and I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is, like I said, the main villain in the movie really is gentrification, and mostly that of white people. It even says it in the movie. And then you look at the characters in the movies, right? So there's not a single white person in this movie that is of any redeeming quality. Look at the cast. You have the critic, who's a cunt. You have her art friends, who are cunts. You have the cops, who are cunts. When you look, if we're going to analyze movies universally the way that they're being picked apart, then when I analyze this movie, it tells me that the filmmakers had no intention of presenting any character of the vanilla face variety in a positive light. With that said, I like movies, so it didn't hurt me being able to enjoy it, but I'm going to be conscious of it. I will bring it up, because there are people out there that are so fucking sensitive that they'd watch this movie and then they go on Facebook and, oh, it's anti-white, but no, it's not anti-white. I think the problem with this movie is they have messages that they want to, social messages, that they don't elaborate enough on. So they kind of throw them out there, and then it's like, but we are in a horror movie, so let's move on. I think there should have been some more time maybe spent on those messages and integrated them a little bit better, instead of just kind of throwing them out in the ether. Would you mind?
I
says, like, overcorrect.
The scene where they
believe those are-
explain the lore, the scene where William explains the lore.
Such a cool scene at that end when he's with the reflections.
I think I understand Matt's argument as it would make more sense throughout the movie, the message you're trying to deliver, if you had a scene like that for the message.
Or consistency, so the message wasn't so, to me, shallow. Like when you really give the reasonings, it is on a base level of racial and social injustice, which is okay. But we're in a time now where things are being discussed so openly, like those doors that once were locked about people being able to, I mean, look at us. You guys are 3 people of color and I'm a vanilla face, and we can talk about this shit. Those doors have opened to a certain point where I would have loved to see, I don't know how you do it, but more than just like, oh yeah, it's because they gentrified and all the, all that inequality, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, but we're filming a horror movie, so let's get back to the horror. You know what I mean? Like, it was a little disjointed in the messaging, I guess, is my really only issue with it. Besides, I did feel like Alex, and as the sore grew on his hand, Every time I saw it, I'm like, go to the hospital, you fucking idiot. And then the next scene, he's scrambling, like, no, what are you doing? Like, nobody would not go to the hospital if when they lifted their hand, it's like, this is my strong hand. As it starts to grow on him. Like, every time they showed his hand, I was like, this fucking guy. Like, nobody would do this.
My wife and kid were freaking out about the holes in his face.
For real, like
pretty badass.
It's taking you over, and you're like,
the bee's nest.
And by the way, how did the hospital miss that? Like, how did they let him walk out?
Someone vet redeemed Tritos for Doggo.
Well, I don't have his camera on, vet. Sorry. That's for the live streams, not this one, not today. He's already had enough. Jen can, I'm not switching cameras to get him. He's over there squeaking his fucking squeaker, being rude.
So, Anthony, you don't know, there's a redeeming on his Twitch for giving the dogs a treat.
Yeah, I limited it to 5 a stream because everybody wants him to eat a fucking treat.
Yeah, but I think everything Matt says are valid points. I do know the term they use is horror noir instead of black horror.
Which, you know what? That's a cool term.
It is a cool term.
That's a badass term.
And for better or worse, Jordan Peele is this new pioneer of horror noir, and we're getting these like more elevated horror films in black horror. I think naturally with today's climate, a lot of them are going to have very like hard driven issues. I really hope this movie gets a sequel.
I do too.
I'm excited for Jordan Peele's new film.
So question though, where does it go with the sequel? Like,
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, this is an incredible origin / continuation. But like, and I mean, there's scenes in this movie that go hard. Like when he gives him the hook and everything, and he cuts the arm off. Like, there is shit in this movie that it's a mainstream R-rated horror movie, and you expect kind of goofy gore. You don't. I mean, this movie was violent. Like the scene in the bathroom when he wipes out all of them, and the first one, it's just that like thick layer of blood that's dripping down. It's like
the sink over, like it was like
he literally squeegeed her into the sink. Like the gore in this movie is amazing. I will say, cinematography wise, it's amazing. I talked about it earlier. I appreciate the color tones they used. I appreciate them. Were those buildings fake, or were those part of the Robert Taylor homes that are still in existence that nobody lives in?
No, they tore that one down.
That's what I thought. So those are all just. Did they put those up for the movie then? Because they tried their best to recreate it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was neat.
CGI. It was a built set and CGI for the rest of it.
It being in the underground of the old homes was neat. I really dug the mirrors trick of. And you guys remember that movie Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah.
Basically, it was kind of this concept where the like you could only see him in the mirror.
Yeah. The smaller ones, the single floors, I think those are still around somewhere. If not, they have something duplicated like that downtown.
Are they just abandoned?
What's that?
Are they just abandoned?
Well, look it over on Clybourne and what is it? Clybourne and Damon? Those.
Oh no, they're revamping all that right now.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're doing the bricks and everything. They just finished one section of it
because that sat for a decade or two with nothing done to it.
No, there was people still living there.
Oh really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Up until I moved into this place, which was about 4 years ago.
Shit!
Holy shit!
They were still living there.
Okay.
I did see that the director of this movie is directing a Marvel movie called The Marvels, and I kind of have no interest in it. But it's a Marvel movie, so we'll see.
It's supposed to be the sequel to Miss Marvel,
which hasn't come out yet, right?
Is that the animated series? Or
there is
going to be a series, but this new movie is going to have Captain Marvel.
I'm sorry, Captain Marvel. It's the Marvels, so it's all of them. It's a sequel to that one, which I believe
Monica
Danvers
Lewinsky
plays her last role as Captain Marvel, and thank God, because that bitch.
Brie Larson, I can't see.
You know what?
Would you rather have her sell cars for you?
There is one movie I do like her in, and that's Free Fire. but it's an ensemble cast. She's not
Not
like
in
the
Kong?
forefront.
I thought you were gonna say Room, where she's
Skull
trapped
Island?
in a room.
Yeah, I loved her in Room. I just wanted her to die in the end.
What about Skull Island?
Was she
I
in
like the
Skull? Yeah,
movie.
she was.
yeah.
I don't like her in it. The problem is that I don't think I've ever seen her in a movie where she's likable.
Yeah, she's
I don't
not.
think in real life she's
No,
likable.
like, well, that's just the thing is I think she's just such an insufferable cunt that, like, she can't not act that way in her movies. Like, tell me a single line of dialogue you remember in a movie of hers where she didn't sound like she was talking down to the person she was talking to.
Yeah, so
Like,
It's
Skull
her
Island,
facial
that was
expressions, too.
it was nothing but her talking down to people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't know. Free Fire, she was okay in, but I mean, she's doing the same shit in that movie. It was just more of an ensemble cast, so like, you have people getting lit on fire and shit, whatever.
Blonde
Charlton
mullet.
Copley gets lit on fire. That's the Guardians of the Galaxy blonde mullet skin. Yeah, she was supposed to be unlikable in Scott Pilgrim, so she played the role well.
that's true. That's probably the only role she did well.
They met her and they were like, "We got the perfect role for you."
Mm-hmm.
Insufferable. So what was your guys' favorite part of this one? Because, like, for me, it legitimately is that pan away murder scene. I will say, though,
I actually like that whole scene.
The
art,
art,
when the conversation.
yeah,
beginning
the
to
art
end.
gallery, though, man. Like, as he's watching him in the mirror tear the fucking projection screen.
That was one of my favorites there.
Oh,
I
dude.
did like
Yeah,
that one.
it's between the art gallery scene and the pan away from the one art director getting killed.
Now, I will say the
Um,
end scene, though, I really appreciate it because it starts off with him as a man, and you basically as he allows himself. I feel like that's what that scene is. It's where he is going from man to Candyman, and by the time he gets wrapped around the car and you see all the reflections of the personas, he's just covered in bees.
Yeah.
Like that is him fully engulfed in it, and then
You really can't see the face. And
the final shot when you get Tony, like I'm sitting there the whole time and I'm like, I fucking heard Tony Todd is in this. Where's Tony Todd? It's 2:30 in the morning. Give me Tony Todd. And I was very happy that at the end of the movie is when you get him and he's just obliterates the officer. And it is a CGI, very youngified version of Tony Todd, but it's clearly him. And he does deliver the line of tell everyone, and then it just to black, which I love endings of movies that go right to black. Like, look at Saw 1, and it's the same. If you look at that pattern and ending, it's the same thing. That scene builds, black. Same thing with the ending of Saw. I love movies with those endings. Fabia!
Yeah, I remember seeing the ending of Saw 1 in theaters and just leaving being like, what the fuck?
Well, then, but that's also back when theaters didn't matter what time of the morning you went to, all sounded great. All the audio was pumped and you walked out deaf. And the ending of Saw is cuts to black and it's just his screams until the credits roll. And it's those, but you have to do those endings where you build it up and then you cut it to black. You can't just be like, gives a weird look into the camera. You know what I mean? Like, that's to me cliched.
or they do that look back.
Yeah, or it's like, he's, every ghost movie where you don't know if they're still haunted, it's just the one character with a 1,000-yard stare, and then it cuts to black,
How many different iterations of Candyman were there, though? Did they make like 3 or 4? Or
Yeah, the 4, I think 4, because you had the original, then you had the one in
was Tony Todd supposed to be the original?
Yes.
18.
That's where it started all.
Or whatever.
And then you had like 19 something, and then you had the one that is the Candyman through most of this movie, and then you have the newest generation, which is the main character.
Okay.
Which I love the fact that it's a generational thing, like that the whole idea of he was essentially a marked child. He was always destined to be Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what he does, he was going down this road.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting concept because this is a movie that does like to talk about, environmental surroundings affecting people's behaviors and how they go through life and who they become. And then realistically, this character never had a choice no matter what he did.
Yeah.
He was always going to gravitate towards it and become him. Which I think is a fucking depressing angle in the end. Doesn't make me like him anymore, though.
Yeah, the way he finds out where he was born versus where he thought he was born.
Well, also, like, her friends are kind of right. Like, loser, get off your ass. Like I don't think the woman in it gets enough credit for being like one of the
her brother.
Well,
Nathan's character Troy, man, he was hard on her, but he was telling the truth.
Yeah, he was
Girl,
great
get
in
your
this
shit
movie.
together. What the fuck are you doing with him? Like, yeah, I love him in this movie.
I love that. Yeah, him and his boyfriend
But
like,
you
are you
find
gonna,
out-
you're gonna go and kick his ass. He's like, I'll kick his ass. That's how I feel. Like he's
He's
literally
like- he's
rolling
sitting there
a blunt.
rolling
He's
a
like,
joint,
yeah,
he's
I'll
like,
do it if I have to, type thing.
Okay.
Like, that's me. Like that's him in a smaller, gayer version of me. Only slightly gayer, by the way.
See, it was hard for me to feel bad for any of the characters in this movie because I despise the like art,
The
like,
pompous, like
avant-garde community.
yes.
I wanted to go to
Kellogg.
art school when I was younger, but I can't stand those people. I cannot stand them.
And the sad thing is that's what those people are actually like. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not an over dramatization. They're all kind of just vapid pieces of shit.
yeah.
Like they're your friends as long as you're popular.
Yeah.
And I almost wished it was gorier and I got to see Candyman kill like I would have liked for it like the lights to go out and he started killing like everyone at that art show. But it probably would have been too much for the movie.
I will say, yeah. But really for the first main kill of the movie, they do a pretty good job. You know, like they also do that thing where it's like, we're not going to show you the bodies. And then you show the bodies. Like I love that in movies where it's like, we're going to leave some mystery. And then it's like, no, we're not. By the way, here's the mangled corpses. I will have to say the bathroom kill is just all 5 of those little bitches gone.
Well, it's supposed to be 5 at the beginning, but then one runs out, and then a 5th one comes back in. But she sees what's going on, and she fucking puts her headphones on and picks her feet up on the
yeah, she wasn't part of the stupidity. And you know, they set that up from the very beginning of the movie. And I wonder where that was going to go. They set it up from the art scene, and I was like, how is this girl going to play into it? I will say, what's the point of the scene? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for extra violence and gore in these movies, but what was the actual point of it, if any?
So this is where I agree with Matt. Like that scene was cool, but it felt like it was a cut from a different, like just a weird cut from like maybe this was going to be in a different story of the Candyman
Or a sequel.
It just felt like it was inserted. Like we have this gore scene, let's just put it there.
Or am I
I
supposed
liked
to be
it.
like,
I really liked it, but
It was a badass scene. It didn't really have any place beyond like,
Maybe
here's a
it
scene to
was-
show you ripping
or
them
is
up.
it gonna be a throwback later saying "Say my name" because she left the art studio and set it somewhere else, and then
also
it spreads.
Alex's oldest daughter, I won't say her name, but she's totally
Jezebel.
the girl who like walks out before
Yeah.
saying the name last time. Like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
good.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done.
Like,
That would have been me. I'd have been like, what are you doing? No, I'm out. What, are you got a
That would be
Ouija
my
board in your
youngest,
backpack
She's
too,
like,
dipshit?
I'm out.
So
Um,
I think that scene was meant to show that Candyman. It didn't do a very good job, but I think it was meant to show that Candyman is trying to spread.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
not
thing
just
is that scene would have been better, not at the very end because the Tony Todd's, but like a mid-credits scene where
Yeah.
you just get
Oh,
that
yeah.
because Tony Todd.
Well, see, that was the other problem is why did they
Yeah.
use this Candyman for the majority of them? Because he's the only one that does the killing in the movie until the very end, and I would have liked if since all of the lore is connected, each murder scene should have had a different Candyman.
That would have been a nice like way to get the viewer to be like, what's going on?
Yeah, like there's 3 of them in the past, so you give one to this guy, one to the other one, and then Tony Todd does the rest up until the end when it's clear that it's him, and then you bring Tony Todd back into it. I think that'd have been a little bit more cohesive.
Write it, send it in, do the reboot. Come on,
I'll be part of the
I know,
sequel team.
Matt always like
reboot it.
tailors a movie in a way that sounds better than the way it was.
Well, I like, and like I said, I really do like this movie. There was just some things I would have done different. The whole scene at the end where he wipes out all the cops, I would have started that inside the building and made it a true horror scene where the cop, you know, he shoots Candyman, which, you know, whatever, as he lays there, and then she's handcuffed and everything, right? The corrupt cop is being corrupt cop. I would have then taken the scene from the cop car in the building where the officer goes in to like do whatever he's doing evidential for the bodies that are there, and Candyman's body's gone. You give me a couple minutes of horror movies searching in these dark kind of caverns that there are, let him, and then that scene where that cop comes out and he's got his throat slashed open and he's dying. You have that cop's story, the last 2 minutes of his life, then you lead it out and then back into the car thing. So you have his whole little couple minute scene of getting his throat slit, and then boom, you're right back in the car watching him step out of the doorway, and then the rest of the scene continues. I would have loved to get a little bit more horror in this movie anywhere I could have. All right, we ready for wrap-ups on this? And
do you want to do Chicago gunshots? Because that's
pew-pews.
Yep, sounds about right.
Or
You know,
Chicago, is that a gunshot or a fireworks? We'll do that.
That's a fun game we play on the south side in the summer. By the way, it's literally not even that much warmer. It's like 45 out, and the sirens basically all day.
I have not heard one fucking fire truck drive by since we've been doing this.
I didn't say fire truck.
Well, I hear it.
I hear the sirens all the time in Oak Park, but it's because Oak Park is surrounded by old people.
Same,
because there's a lot of retirement places, and it's all. My wife is like, "Why are there so many sirens?" It's like it's all the old people dying.
That's
that's indigestion, or they couldn't fucking get up from the tub.
That's totally this area's problem too.
They're
totally all the old
people.
people.
On the toilet.
Not to do anything with violence of any sort. Totally old people.
Yeah, my wife's uncle used to be a firefighter, and I remember asking him, like, did you go like stop a lot of fires? And he's like, no, it was mostly like scraping people who tried to commit suicide off the highway and lifting fat people out of tubs when they're deceased for like 2 days. I was like, that doesn't sound like a fun job. He's like, no, don't be a firefighter.
It's fucking terrible. I drink very heavily.
Of the time, firefighters are first on scene, and they see some of the craziest shit.
Then they get serial callers, people that call in to fucking get the fire because they want attention, so they call the fire department.
I'm gonna go first. 1.5. No.
Jeez.
I really like this movie. I'm gonna give this movie a
1.5.
Solid 4.5. I think if you, I mean, I don't want to make a disclaimer, but I'll be straight up with my opinion on it. I think if you're someone who's really sensitive to racial issues of any kind, like if you're that person that like, you sit there and you hear something on the news of anything to do with POC people or people of whatever, how they phrase it, and it frustrates you. Like if you're that person that's just like, fucking BLM, you're going to hate this movie straight up. Which is to say you're being closed-minded. I think it annoys me, some of the messaging, but I really do appreciate the cinematography in it. I like them revitalizing the character the way they did. They built on the lore. They continued it. They've given it further lore for sequels. Higher than 7, yes. And I think the reasoning it's higher than 7 is because 7 is older. And by this point, it did not have any sort of the kind of woe factor it did at that point. This movie's it's a beautiful movie. It's not, I wouldn't say it's exceptionally well written. Like there's no one line in dialogue, maybe between the critic and him a little bit. But it's not a movie to make you like kind of think. But it's written well enough. The CGI, the acting, the story, all great, you know. And I still give it a 4.5. Like I said, if you're somebody who's either sensitive to that sort of shit or you're tuned out of it completely, where if any sort of ideology comes in any movie, like if you're like, hey, I'm gonna go watch Attack on Titan and not think about things, this might not be your movie either, you know.
Naked Bacon.
Very true.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I'd like for Jen to watch it. She didn't watch it with me. I tried to tell her that it wasn't really a horror movie, but because it isn't. I do have that problem with this movie, and it's more of a problem in marketing than anything else. This isn't a horror movie. Jordan Peele doesn't make horror movies, so stop calling them that. Stop ballooning this Masters of Horror sort of thing. They make great psychological thrillers. I think this director has more potential to create a solid horror movie than even Peele might, simply because this movie at least had more of those vibes than I felt Get Out or Us did. I would love to see them two come together and do a legit zombie movie, though. I'd love the cinematographer and director of this movie to handle that, and Peele write it like he helped co-write this. I think the new movie that Peele's got coming out looks amazing. But it does look, it looks fucking amazing.
It's got Twilight Zone vibes.
Yep.
Yeah, Twilight. You know, I also got Cowboys versus Aliens vibes. The
I
Daniel,
love that
yeah.
movie.
a little bit like it looks amazing. Like I love his movies. I feel like in the realm of horror he gets too much credit. I will say he makes amazing movies. I won't say he makes amazing horror movies. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5 out of this one. I'll watch this again, no problem. I fucking really enjoyed it.
Sweet.
Go next.
All right, you go.
I'm more important.
I thought you were gonna be like, I was born first, asshole.
That's also fairish.
I'm gonna give this a solid 5. I did love this movie. I love movies with lore. I love lore movies. This movie dove into the lore. They created a new Candyman out of the main character who nobody liked, apparently.
The actor was great. The character was just like, he doesn't do anything in this movie to make you like him though either.
He
Like,
doesn't.
you
Yeah,
meet
he's
him-
kind of a piece of shit.
like you meet, and yeah, the art people were pieces of shit,
The
sure.
characters you're not supposed to like, you don't
But
like
like,
them. Yeah,
I just want to say this: like, you're trying to be a professional artist. You don't get drunk and then fucking pick a fight at an art gallery you aren't running that you got a thing for in somebody else's art gallery. Like, you're just not professional, man. You're kind of
That
an
was
asshole.
still funny.
Yeah.
I
That was
do.
still
I
funny.
do
Your
love when he walks
girlfriend
out the door and
did
he's like,
you a
"Yeah, I
favor."
said
You
it,
goofy
bitch."
Yeah. And that was the thing is I wanted to see more of that character too, because this movie doesn't. I relate to the gay friend or brother the most because he's the only one who actually speaks his fucking mind in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody else did seem a bit tame writing wise, which I did have a little bit of an issue with because it's like, this isn't how anybody really talks.
Well, also, I gotta say something real quick about the brother. If I don't care if it is my brother, you come into my house lighting fucking candles when I don't want you to, fuck you, get the fuck out.
Yeah, but you have a weird
Like-
thing with candles.
You also hate your brother.
Hey.
No, we hate his brother.
That's true. Here on the Nerd 2 Movie
I
Podcast,
just-
we say fuck his brother.
I just don't care to see him.
No, but I love the lore. I love movies with lore. This movie did a good job of pulling the lore from the first one, pulling it into this one, and like Matt said, expanding on it. The way this movie ended, the lore they put into it, they can go anywhere with it, which would be great. I would love to see a second movie to this. I thought all the actors did a good job. The gore was great. I would have loved to see more gore. I do agree with that.
I'd actually like to
Not
see
more
a
gore,
min-
more.
I'd like to see a mini series, right? Like
Ooh, that'd be
one, like
nice.
if they're not gonna do a sequel, right? Do a series where the first 3 episodes are the original lore and the other 2 Candymans.
It's
Okay.
just Tony Todd walking around a neighborhood being like, Helen. Somebody tell me where Helen is.
I don't know why I got Tony Todd from The Rock is in my head, like badass military murderer motherfucker Tony Todd. Like, I love that Tony Todd too. Like, I like Candyman, but badass stab you in
But
the
it's-
throat Tony Todd.
See,
I
in
love
my
him, too.
idea, it's 2022, so he's asking for Helen, and no millennials name their kids Helen, so he's just constantly walking around.
The fuck you talking about?
We
It's
got
11
an
o'clock at
Olga.
night, motherfucker. I'm the
You're
Candyman.
like, Helen.
I got diabetes. I can't have candy, you motherfucker. Because he goes into an old folks area, like, mistakenly, like, do you have peach rings? Oh, what the fuck, get away from me. So, ew, like, he's like, bees, sting this bitch. And fucking old lady gets fully engulfed in bees and starts running away.
Yeah, it's a solid 5 for me. I do like this movie.
I'll go before Lewis because I know he's got a lot more to say than I
Damn
do.
it.
Lewis
I'm
is
also
having an
a lot
anger
older than him.
seizure.
For me, it's a 4.5. It gives me a little bit of the feel from the original because you see them try to recreate the Cabrini Green, which I've seen it. You guys were how old back then? That was 11 years ago.
My dad used to drive, like, literally take us. We would have to go through downtown, or I think my uncle lived out here, and he
you
would
could just
drive
go
us through
Clybourne
there on
straight up there.
purpose.
Yeah, you could drive Clybourne straight.
He would go, no, we're gonna go by Cabrini. I'd be like, okay, and then he would be like, I don't know what his point. He's
But-
just a psychopath, I think.
That building was
nuts.
one of the last big structures that was left, and there's like if you look at the pictures, they tore it on from the middle down. But
Well,
I
the
actually
story-
delivered.
The stories from there is they used to literally the separate towers. They would shoot through the windows at each other,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they were-
across
they
the
were doing-
fucking way.
if,
Yeah, they were
if you're
opposing
watching
gangs.
this and you're not a Chicago native that lived in that time, like it was an area where like you just knew like, hey, don't fucking go there. Like,
Yeah.
don't hang around there.
It didn't, and it also didn't matter your creed or affiliation either.
No.
It just
No.
you were not welcome by anyone there. Nobody was welcome in that area, even those who lived there.
It was kind of similar to Training Day, that one little strip where that that he had.
Very
yeah,
similar.
somewhat,
Yeah, but it was just like it was kind of fucked up. But yeah, I delivered light fixtures there one time to these guys that had fucking armed security next to them the whole time.
Leave it and go.
And I was like, can we get somebody to take this shit so I can leave?
I was working for Window Works, and I had an appointment. And the guy's house, he was an old cop, and his house was the end. It was a short block, and it was just giant grass on the other side of this little alleyway. It was literally formerly Cabrini. Like, literally everything's just been leveled. And I'm talking to him after we did business, and there was this minivan and these guys in the alleyway down here. And he goes, "Those motherfuckers are selling drugs." And I was like, "Excuse me?" Now, mind you, I'm on a sales appointment, and I'm not wearing a Punisher shirt. I'm nice and dressed up. And he goes, "I used to be a former cop. I could fucking take them." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "They're nothing but piss ants selling their fucking drugs. I call the cops. They look at this shit. It's a fucking drive-through." And sure enough, minivan pulled off. Another car went in, pulled off. And we watched like 5 of them. He's like, they do it all fucking day long. And he was this older, like, reminded me of like a Clint Eastwood Wild West sort of black dude, though. Like the type that
arms, though.
just toes, but a hell of a shot with a 6-shooter. Yeah, he was a badass dude. I wonder if he ever got his windows. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm looking at I sold it to him, but I'm looking at the field.
I did my job.
I'm just like, holy fuck, Cabrini's nothing but a giant soccer field at this point. Just grass.
Some of it still is. Yep. They're still
It's
developing
insane.
over there. But overall, you're supposed to hate the people that you hate, while the movie's going on, which I like that. When they have those kind of characters. And it was just kind of cool to see the different Candyman iterations that they had going through the times, and it kind of threw me at first when I saw this guy. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then as I heard the stories that they were going on, and then you hear about Bill's character, Coleman Domingo, where he's the little kid who sees this fucking guy behind me and lives to tell about it. And I thought that was all pretty cool. And it's a 4.5, and we're gonna hear Anthony's take on this now.
Yeah, I the guy behind Alex Scatman Weathers or whatever the fuck his name is, he's pretty creepy. But yeah, so this is
guy from The Principal.
This is a 5 for me. Being like this series, being like a Chicago killer growing up, creeped me out. And I love Tony Todd. I'm a fan of him as like the death character in Final Destination.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also interesting, especially probably for all 4 of us. This movie, one of its subject matters being gentrification, because the neighborhood we lived in. Oh, is that Matt?
I was muted.
That's you.
The neighborhood we all grew up in is like it gentrified the fuck up, like that whole area. So it's I don't know. There's things in this movie that click with me. I want to see this director do more horror shit. I really hope she doesn't get swept up in the Disney and you're getting all these fucking superhero shit. I do think people won't like this film if they don't like, I hate to use the term elevated horror or art house horror, because this movie leans more towards that. And I agree with Matt that it's like, if you watch this movie, you're going to be like, that wasn't a horror movie, because it's more of a psychological thriller.
Mm-hmm.
But I do really like it. I think in terms of like horror noir, like this is a pretty kick-ass film.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I like the cinematography. I do like the main actor and Domingo, even though, like Alex said, you do kind of hate these people. And I really hope another one gets made, although I don't see anything about a sequel.
I think maybe that's a good thing. Like, I think really
It
you
is.
do need to have a
Sometimes it
good
is.
story for a sequel on this one.
Maybe they just don't have anything that's good.
Yeah,
Maybe they did.
maybe it's going to take some time to come. Maybe either they don't have any plans for it right now. You know, Jordan Peele's doing his own thing. I don't know what this director's doing. I'm assuming after the success of this movie, she's going to have more and more projects on her plate. But I don't know. Maybe it does need some time. Maybe some time is a good thing. You know.
But I will also speak to the horror noir community. Stop slapping Jordan Peele's name on your marketing, on your movie.
Like Eli Roth.
Yeah, it's like be your own thing. Like
It's
go in your
becoming a
own
little bit like
direction.
National Lampoon's Presents. Like,
Yeah.
like do you? But like, if I understand you want credit, but like, we don't need the presents on movies anymore. Like Quentin Tarantino was notorious for that shit.
But it also shadows the director. Like I'm not gonna lie, I fell in the vein. I was like, oh, I'm watching a Peele movie, and then when I watched it, I'm like, that was an Peele movie. And Anthony's like, yeah, it wasn't directed by Peele. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like
No.
this is a thing of like, is this director gonna keep working with Jordan Peele as a producer, and all our movies? Oh, it's Jordan Peele. It's Jordan Peele. Like,
Yeah.
I like to see directors like do that, like Jordan Peele before he was like known. I hate when people say he's a master of horror. But before he was like broke out, like he did his own thing, and I just feel bad when directors like get pigeonholed into like, I gotta keep following the person who inspires me, and now his name is constantly on my stuff.
Well,
so I hope she does her own stuff.
Here's my other question too. Like, and this is specifically for Peele, right? He's put himself in kind of this niche of master of horror, which I don't agree with. But like, he's also got quite the comedic bone, and I'd kind of like to see some of that again too. Like we know,
I hope he doesn't leave that.
Like we know you've got a good cinematographer's eye. Like you could probably make a really funny, and I don't know if what was the Keanu movie was okay, but you don't need key. Like do your own fucking thing. Write a comedy. Like I do hope he keeps some of that variety up because I do love his psychological thrillers. But I don't know. Maybe get a little bit of, and I'm hoping maybe with the sci-fi element in the new one, he's pulling a little bit away. I have a feeling that's going to be much less of a psychological thriller or anything, and it's going to be more of a worlds type of feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bonkers. But yeah, if you haven't seen the original Candyman, please check it out. It's awesome. Tony Todd just wants to get his rocks off on Helen. And if you haven't read Books of Blood, check out the Forbidden story, which Candyman's based off of. It's pretty cool.
So Vet said he didn't know that he was part of a Black Klansman movie.
Peele, I don't think Spike Lee directed that one. Peele, I don't know what he had or what he did on it. To be honest with you, I never saw that movie, even though I am a big fan of Adam Driver.
Let's see.
I don't like Spike Lee, which is why I didn't watch it. But to me, there's nothing appealing about Spike Lee's film style in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing. Not mine, and the hype is around him.
I've really seen any of Spike Lee's films.
I do like the 25th Hour. Inside Man was pretty good. The Black Klansman does look good, and I am a big fan of Adam Driver. That one, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Spike Lee, so I don't really like Do the Right Thing, but that just might be because that movie feels weirdly old. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's dated really oddly. Lewis, you gave your hot dogs or gunshots?
Yes.
Five. Is that a gunshot? Is that a firework? Don't worry. Go to bed, honey. We're fines.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, haha, kids are just being kids. All right, well, we are going to take a real quick break before we hit Ghostbusters Afterlife. I do need to get a refreshment refill. So we will be right back with... What'd you call me?
Oh, he was a producer. Okay.
Oh, Peele?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, be right back. All right, I'm going to get some ice, guys. Yeah,
we're live.
we are live now. We can.
So, yeah.
We'll just fucking. Let's talk about what movies we want to do
Cloverfield.
next. So you said the 15th and the 22nd. So you're gonna do 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to do one of those weeks Back to the Future.
I was just about
The
to say,
trilogy.
let's do Back to the Future. The other week has to be Batman.
Okay, so this is gonna be a
Oh.
weird mix because we did talk about doing this. Would anyone want to do Scott Pilgrim and Batman, or should we just leave Batman on its own because it's 3 hours long?
The Batman, you mean? Okay, I got you.
You can suck it.
You can.
No, because you started saying Batman. I was confused a little bit.
We'll do.
Why are
Scott
you confused?
Pilgrim.
Hold on. Let's break this down. What confused
Because
you exactly?
I wasn't thinking about when it's coming out as far as the dates. I don't fucking follow the dates like everybody does. Okay.
I mean, you know.
When does
I don't believe the Schwarzenegger
The 15th,
Batman just
the
released.
15th.
when it comes out the 15th?
Yeah,
HBO
it would
Max.
be, everyone would have to watch it that day.
Yeah, no, that's 3 hours.
Or
of,
do it the
yeah,
next
no.
week.
We'll do that on the 25th. I really like the idea of doing the Back to the Future trilogy. I want to discuss him wanting to fuck his mom. Like that's gonna be
The focal point.
30-minute
It's a
conversation.
big
Well, what's
discussion.
even weirder about that movie is she really wants to fuck him, like
But she
really
doesn't know it's
badly.
him though, and he kind of knows it's her, but not at first. Well, he's not the one that wants to do her.
I
mean,
there's
no,
also
but he
gonna
kind of
be-
does.
tangents as of why Doc Brown should not be around kids at
Yeah.
all.
No, I think the Rick and Morty Doc Brown is much more realistic. Like in the real world, that's what Doc Brown would have been. It would, you know what I mean? Like he's a fucking psychopath. I do love.
So you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do
The
you want to do the
15th.
trilogy on the 15th?
Yeah. And then we'll do. It's either we do something with Batman or we just do the Batman. That
I think we
next
should
week.
just do the Batman. I like the conversation we had, Matt, where we talk about
Yeah, we
who's our
do a
favorite
retrospective.
Batman
Yeah,
and
yeah.
why.
So yeah, so the
Yeah, and then
15th.
we can go
Also-
into the other movies and like our Dark Knight. We can just talk about all of that. And
Who's your favorite
Also-
Batman with nipple suit?
For anybody who's watching, the Batman comes out April 15th on HBO Max. So everybody will have a whole week to watch it if they want to join in.
Yep.
From now on, well, at least for this year, Warner Brothers movies are a 45-day delay. Peacock movies Paramount Plus are 45-day delays. So Jackass Forever's out there now.
Yep.
The
Wait,
Scream.
it's out now?
Yeah,
Like
it's
now?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen and I watched it. It's good. You watch it yet, Giovanni?
hmm
Is it kind of sad though? Because
So the ending, the end of those movies always have that moment of like, oh man, I've been watching these since I
Yeah.
was a kid, and they do a little bit of a tribute to Ryan Dunn at the end, which I really appreciated. Steve-O is my
Weird not
favorite
having
now. I
Dan,
never
though.
used to like Steve-O, but Steve-O in this one was my. You know what,
I always
dude?
liked Steve-O.
It's the
like,
sobriety in him.
he
that makes
he
him-
was okay, but I do listen to his podcast a lot. But back in the day when he was all strung out, it was just like, you know that guy when you're at a party who's like, yeah, I'll jump on the fucking table. I don't care. He was that guy. That guy doesn't mesh well with this guy. Like, I'm the guy in the corner that as big as I am is low key. And like, if I step into a situation, then there's something that's legitimately gone wrong.
So is Steve-O now the guy that says, yeah, I'll jump on that table only if we do this first and then get this right?
I really liked his apprehension in doing things. Like,
Okay.
sober, like the you haven't seen it yet, right?
No. I haven't.
So he
but
did
I
basically,
can understand.
he
I can
does a
understand.
speedo of bees essentially at one point. Well, not even just all, anyways. And there's a moment where he's like, "Dude, I don't know," and it's like I kind of like, and his facial expressions.
Well, he's
he-
done that before, though.
He will not like this.
Okay.
Not it.
Yeah,
it's.
not like this.
I'll put it this
Oh
way:
my
literally, the scene it goes from one scene to Steve-O's dick, like that.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. Aaron was getting destroyed the whole movie. Was that one of the new dude's names? There was some new people in it. There's a big old fat bastard.
Yeah, Zach ass.
Yeah, British black dude and a chick. Who, you know what? She took some scorpion stingers to the face, so yeah. The softball on the leg. Yeah. Anyways, we'll I mean, at some point we should just review all those movies. I mean, I don't think that still would be like an hour-long episode, but
Are you going to include the CKY shit too? And
Well, you know my opinion on that, which is you don't have Jackass without CKY, because CKY footage was essentially the first season of Jackass with Johnny Knoxville thrown in.
That's why it's weird
That
Bam
he's
not
not-
being involved.
So
because
Bam
he
is in
wouldn't
it.
Have it all.
Did you notice him, Giovanni? There's one shot where they couldn't edit him out. There is no interview with him. It's one shot they couldn't get him out of there because the whole thing would have been no good.
The whole bit would have been done.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been screwed.
And you know what though, seeing him in it in that one scene, because I'm a Bam Margera fan as far as the old days. I was a Viva La Bam fan, still am. So it is because the problem is we're out Ryan Dunn. Like if we had Ryan Dunn, I can do Jackass without Bam, but Ryan Dunn. You know, but both of them out, man, it did feel hollow, and the new cast didn't do anything to fill any sort of gap.
But you get to see him next week on WrestleMania. Johnny Knoxville.
I don't give. Is that next week already?
Yep, next weekend.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll watch it.
Which it works out great because that's a whole weekend, and these two gents are going to be out that weekend, so we take the weekend off.
Yeah, it's 2 days, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it.
Is it normally a 2-day event?
Last year it was what?
Last year because of the pandemic, it was 2 days.
Yeah, they're continuing the 2-day thing.
It.
Maybe Vince McMahon was like, more money?
When you pay, so you pay for the pay-per-view for WrestleMania. Do you have to pay for
You don't pay for shit. It's on Peacock
you pay
now.
for the Peacock Network, or you get it for free with your Xfinity.
Okay.
So I don't pay the extra $5 to get the no ads.
I do, because fuck ads.
I don't care about the ads.
Dude, we are now. Oh, I forgot to mention.
Any more money from me?
I don't think I said what I was watching today, did I?
No, you did not.
Jesus, fuck. The Office, we started again. We're down that rabbit hole. We're watching.
It's an addiction.
We are in season 2 of the super fan episodes. Which, by the way, getting through season 1 and the super fan episodes, because season 1 is the worst season of that show, it's just so rough to get through, and they've basically doubled the length of the episodes.
Isn't it also like? Isn't it also like almost supposed to be very similar to the originals?
There's
that first season.
Oh yeah, that first season is basically a remake of the British one.
It's just new people doing the roles.
Yeah, season 2 is when they all kind of get their own identities. But we did that, and we're also watching Mandalorian. We're at the end of the first season. Gonna go into the second season.
Had you not seen it, or had you not gone through it?
Actually, we watched the first episode, and then life got in the way, and because we're reviewing Rescue Us, we're reviewing movies for this, then she works and then she comes home and she sleeps, so we really just finally got to it where I was like, I want to watch this fucking show. What do you think Peacemaker came out, so we blew through Peacemaker.
What do you think about it? Yeah.
I love it.
It's great, right?
I would rather have him never take his helmet off, and I have gotten to the last episode of the first season where he does. Yeah. But I'm loving it. I do want to watch Boba Fett. I have heard Boba's kind of meh though. I heard compared to Mando, Boba Fett's kind of a weaker byproduct.
Yeah.
And the best episodes are when Mando's actually in Boba Fett.
What did you think about the Waititi episode? Where Taika Waititi directed it. It's the episode where the
7.
it's the episode where
Jason Sudeikis
with the two
troopers where he punches it. Yeah, you could tell because he's got his voice in it too, Waititi. I don't remember what he voices, but he voices something in there.
He plays IG-88.
Yes. There hasn't really been a bad episode yet, to be honest with you. I mean, there was now. Was that the same episode where they try to kill Mando?
Yeah.
I really love the ending where you've got the that part where in there and the lights are going off and it's very well done. The show itself also, I mean, Baby Yoda is just cute.
Yeah.
When he's playing with the little knob and shit, and then he starts healing people like this little motherfucker.
My son says Baby Doda because he can't say it properly.
But I'm looking forward to the second season. I really am digging that show. There's a couple shows that I need to get into. One that I'm gonna watch on my own. I think it's called, was it Raised by Wolves or?
Yeah,
I wanted to check that out. I got that. Yeah.
That I really want to watch that, so that's on my list. Yeah, that's what we've been watching mainly. Office now and fucking Mando. What is he saying? Grogu is that the name of Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fuck you. I don't know what you're trying to say.
See, Matt and I suffer from the same thing though, where there's like a door that says, "Hey, new shit here," and a door that says, "Do you want to watch the same shit you've been watching?"
It's literally
like we just touch the doorknob
Yep.
and then we go straight into the other door.
Like 20 minutes into the episode of the new show, I'm already back on YouTube watching car crashes and fight videos. It's fucking ridiculous.
See, and I'm the opposite. I'm like the new door that I plow through it. Like I just new stuff.
Me and Matt are like going to a meeting saying like you need to watch new shit, and it's like but there's heroin.
Literally like, have you thought about sobriety? You know, and it's like, well, I have, right? But I got a whole bunch of not sobriety over here. I'm really looking forward to, and like that's the problem is there are nights like Alex is that we've talked about it with the games and TV. Like I'll start a movie and be like, ha, don't fuck this. 10 minutes in. Sometimes less. Sometimes the credits are just finishing and the intro credits, and I'm like, not feeling it anymore. I tried the Highlander. If you guys go on Vudu or whatever I have it on, and you see Highlander's like 2 minutes in. That's how long my ADD let me watch Highlander that fucking night.
That's the best part about being logged into your Vudu is you go to the recently watch and it's like 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, 10 minutes in.
It sucks, man. Like I said earlier, being crazy sucks.
Shit when you hear him on Steam. I'll be sitting on Steam playing a game and I keep hearing and it's him fucking playing a game, turning it off, playing a game, turning it off, playing a game, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I have to keep checking every time. See what's he doing now.
Matt's brain is the equivalent of the kid trying really hard not to get tagged in a game of freeze tag. It's just zip zapping everywhere.
So the other night I literally booted up Elden Ring and I got one-hitted and I was like, nope, fuck this.
I saw you, you went in Elden Ring and then you were gone.
Booted it up, I was like, I can't wait to get into this adventure. Fucking first enemy tagged me and I'm like, nope. Get him out! And I just I didn't even quit the game properly. I Windows keyed that bitch and right-clicked the icon. My brain is just all sorts of fucking asshole. Does not allow me to concentrate. But there are times, like I did get a good chunk of God of War in the other day. Yeah. But the problem with it is this past week was the anniversary of my mom's death. And that game is about a mother/wife dying. So as I'm playing it, I'm just like, fucker. Like, you know, I'm like, because it goes from a scene of like you're hacking these fucking ice demons to death, and then it's like, boy, and they have this nice little interaction. It's a wonderful game. So I have been getting little pockets, like late at like 2 a.m. the other night. My brain was like, guess what you're gonna do? And I'm like, what? And it's like, you're gonna smoke and play 2.5 hours of GTA Next Gen. And I was like, really? And I did. Like, there's little pockets I've been getting of like laser beam, spectrum level focus. Last night was that with Candyman. I told Jen, I was like, I'm gonna need like an hour or like 45 minutes to finish this because it's already like 1 a.m. Nope. Watched the whole fucking thing last night.
I can imagine when Matt like forces himself to sit down and watch movies. Like, come on,
dude.
How much time?
I'm telling you, if it's not a badass like kung fu movie, and even those, I'm like, talking? No, and it's like fast forward 10 seconds or 10, like a minute, and that's how I watch it. Like if I've seen a movie before nowadays, unless it's a movie where like it's meant the dialogue is a big deal. Like if I put on John Wick, I don't see any talking in that movie. It's just fucking fight scene to fight scene. Bloodsport would be a movie I'd throw on and actually watch. Like the 80s movies are a little different because they hit a certain nostalgia, where it's like I could sit and just hang out and watch this
motherfucker
movie.
Was kicking the ball like this, and there was asphalt falling from the ceiling.
What the fuck is that from?
That was Bloodsport. That was fucking
God.
telling his brother.
That was a John. I was talking about this the other day with Mike, I can't remember what his name is now, but the main bad guy where he's just like, you are next. Like, that dude was just fucking giant brick shithouse. I loved him in that movie. Go watch Bloodsport, Fabian, if you haven't already. Even if you have, do it anyways. It's
Bloodsport's
awesome.
good.
So good.
It's, the training montage is a little weird. Where it's like, we're gonna fire you! And he's like
it the
doing
one
his
where he's
weird
dancing in the
stretchy
bar?
thing, you know? It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, we
Remember
get
when
it. You can do the splits.
He has to like do the dance in the bar when he's dancing and shit.
I just remember this song having chimes in it. Like the montage song, you just hear like middle of the fucking song. It's like, what the fuck? Okay. We have another movie. This one probably won't be as long as Candyman, because frankly, it's a Ghostbusters movie. There's not that much to discuss. However, it's the only good sequel after number 2, or only good Ghostbusters product. Well, that's not true.
Originals.
That's not true. I include the game in the Ghostbusters acceptable
because technically
content.
the game was a sequel.
They wrote that. Dan Aykroyd and Ramis wrote that fucking game. It was a script they had for a third movie. They did it in the game. So I am going to say that's part of the lore, not the 2016 one, though, at all.
I've never played it.
It's awesome.
For like the last
It's like
decade,
$6 on Humble right now.
Years ago, I used to not, when Shay and I first started dating, I didn't have time to go to the movies. We were both like busting our ass to make, the bills get paid. And I would buy physical media all the time. I'd never be able to see it in theaters. I would just buy movies that I saw trailers for.
That's how I became too with it.
I bought the like steel tin collector's edition of Ghostbusters 2016.
Oof.
And I came home and watched it, and it was just immediately like, I remember like I would take care of my movies. I put them on the shelf. This? I fucking beamed that thing across the room. But I don't not finish a movie. I will never DNF. I'll be like, I'm gonna watch it all. I remember the whole movie. I'm like checking the info for the time, like how much is left. It was bad.
Well, like Jen wanted to watch it because it had all like she's a fan of all the actresses in it, and so am I. And then even she was like, "Holy fuck, that was bad."
It is.
Like, it's not a gender thing. Like, I hate to say it, but none of them were very like. The only one that was good acting wise in that, in my opinion, was Kate McKinnon. I think is her name.
That was Spangler. Is she the Egon
the blonde one, the short blonde one from SNL.
The short hair.
Yeah, I believe she had short hair.
Yeah, I like her. Yeah.
She was funny.
Yeah, that movie's not bad. It's not a gender thing. And my wife thought so too. I was like, that's a shitty movie. It was because it's all girls? No, because those actresses are very good.
But not in this movie.
Not in this movie.
So also, as a metalhead, I really hate like they're showing a metal concert and it's so just not a metal show. Like, this is satanic metal, man, and it's like, are you fuck?
People who don't know a metal show think what you say you're going to.
Whoever wrote that scene clearly is a fucking Kenny G fan. Like, they don't know music, they don't know metal, they don't know rock and roll for that fucking matter. But yeah, and then that scene in particular, when they're like, they're just like, and like it's supposed to be and all 4 actresses just have the same. Yeah. Like they had never done CG before. I didn't understand it.
They were there to rock.
But Lewis, what's some of these statistics? Is there any pandemic statistics? How well did this movie do?
Well, all right. So yeah, this movie came out 4 days before Candyman. So August 23rd, 2021. Obviously, this is a sequel to the original 2. Jason Reitman didn't he just die? No,
his father died. Ivan Reitman just passed away. Yeah. Which has got to really sting, considering this is the last movie he directed, and it's about Spangler being dead. It's got to be a hard thing to do. By the way, that scene at the end with his cameo touched the cockles a bit.
I know.
Yeah, no, I cried.
Guilty,
man.
I didn't cry, but I was I cried. I was like, God damn it.
I'm an emotional bitch.
I had one tear.
My wife has the balls in the family. When we got married, she just took them from me, and I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah, but she can deliver a swift roundhouse, though.
She can. And as soon as when the movie began, I teared up a bit because I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah, it was like, oh, dude, I was telling Jen, I was like, that's him, that's Spangler, isn't it? And Jen's like, I think, and I was like, no, that's fucking Spangler, because you can see with his frizzy hair, like And then
the end of the movie, I was fucking bawling. I was so happy.
The only thing I had to say about the whole CGI Spangler is they make that weird Homer Simpson body.
A little bit.
Like
I think it was supposed to be
belly's
like
really low.
I think it was like the clothing didn't layer right because he had the jacket on. I think that was part of it. Is like you couldn't get a proper midsection because he had that baggy overcoat on.
But yeah, all the shots that they showed him, I was kind of like, oh shit, I know who that is.
Yeah, and then it sucks that he's dead in real life. Is like if he would still be alive and they just use that as the story, that's one thing. But the fact that he's passed away is really the shit eater of it. It's just like,
and
fuck.
it wasn't a bad CGI, and I like it that they didn't give him a voice. I like that they just kept it quiet.
Yeah,
because if they would have tried to mimic the voice,
how do you emulate Harold Ramis?
They take recordings of and they digitize it, and
it wouldn't have worked though.
Yeah,
it wouldn't.
But
have
I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't do any kind of voice for it. I liked how they did that.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
like you didn't know he died.
Running time of 124 minutes. Budget was 75 million, and this movie did pretty good. Box office was 197 million.
Good. I hope they do a sequel.
And obviously, this is based off the original Ghostbusters, which was written by Dan Aykroyd.
And Ramis
will not shut up about Crystal Skull vodka, and Harold.
He's
Ramis,
got to hawk it any way he can, brother.
Chicago native Harold Ramis, who was known as kind of an asshole back then.
Okay, but have you guys seen Analyze This and That? He was still fucking comedically brilliant in his writing and directing. Like, he wrote those movies.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure it's one of those things where a lot of people thought he was a piece of shit, and then when he died, they're like, "Oh God, Harold Ramis died." Like,
yeah, there was a bunch of Twitter motherfucking for 10 years, and then it was like, "Oh, what a comedic genius!" Hashtag Harold Ramis. I'm so sad.
Him in Stripes, I thought was one of his good roles too.
He was great in Stripes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good in Knocked Up as well as the father. Fabian bought 2 of the bottles, not because he enjoys it, but because he's a raging alcoholic.
I think this movie did what all of these fucking movies are trying to do, where they took all the nostalgia and they're like, we're gonna put it in front of you, and for some reason, for me, everything clicked into place, and
I liked it. You know what that reason is, right? Mr. Paul motherfucking Rudd.
Yeah, he's a handsome man.
By the way, I did feel
Mr. Gooberson.
There is a little stretching in this movie. There's some scenes that took a little too long, in my opinion. Also, I do feel it takes a little too long to get to the
meat and potatoes, if you will.
Yeah, it's the last 35 minutes of the movie, really. It does take a little bit too long to get into what we're all here to see. Also, I literally timed exactly when the cameo of the fellas was going to happen. I told Jen when it happens, I go, they're going to get in trouble, pinned down, can't win, and then out of the fucking blue, the other 3 guys are going to show up. And literally, I was like, right now it's going to happen. And it did. But probably my favorite cameo ever in any movie.
Mine was Sigourney Weaver, because I wanted to marry her when I was little.
Dude, in the first Ghostbusters, that's why Zool wanted her.
But yeah, no, like when I think about it, like this movie did all of the Lewis's cardinal sins of like, don't do this, don't shove nostalgia in my face.
Oh, the echo again.
But for some reason, like everything just like clicked, and I was like, I love this movie.
It's a feel-good movie.
Yeah, it's the way the nostalgia was sprinkled. It wasn't like, it lobbed at you.
No, and it wasn't just like, oh, here's Dan Aykroyd. It was like the color patterns they used when they show Zool's throne area are mimicked exactly the 80s movies. Like, they did an incredible job in this movie of giving you...
I did like how they added the lights, though.
Yeah, well, the CG was pretty great.
Well, Zool in general with the
you know who that was,
first
right?
of all, the practical effects and the staticky look.
What's Olivia Wilde.
Name? Yeah.
Freaky eyes. I also like. Okay, so did anybody towards the end when Zool is being destroyed? Did anybody kind of think like, dude, if they were to make an Alan Wake movie, that's how the creature should disappear?
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was awesome effect when you can see it like tearing through her. Like, The CG was on point. The story's great. The kids are likable. I really love how the granddaughter, they immediately make the connection of like she's emotionless and she's all about science,
Yeah.
which is
Just
straight
like, yeah.
Spangler.
Well, I wonder if it was because she was like my wife and I were discussing this because she's a children's librarian, deals with a lot of kids with like behavioral issues. And I looked at her and I was like, do you think she's like has Asperger's?
No, I think
or-
the spectrum she was on is the same Spangler was on. Because even in
Yeah.
the original Ghostbusters, they make mention of him being
Mhm.
They
like
were
not
so
on
smart.
the yeah.
They felt like they were on a different level because they were so smart.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily
didn't
that
know how to relate to
they're
it.
not disabled mentally, they're disabled socially, as in they just don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about anything but their science.
But I think
The jokes
her
were funny,
acting
too.
was fucking flawless for me.
Yeah,
like
no,
I
it
was
was
like,
good.
I'm trying to
"That's
remember
perfect."
what joke
There's a-
she said
there's
that
a-
actually made me laugh. I think it was the Adam one. Why you can't trust an atom because they make
Well,
up
you can't
everything.
trust an atom.
They make up everything.
The point in the movie where she's where the kid podcast is like podcast his name is podcast fucking unbelievable. Podcast is like, are you scared? And she's like, no, I love overstimulation.
Yeah.
Spangler actually alluded to that in the first movies as well. He said the same thing. And her acting and her tone was him. Like she mimicked him perfectly. Like, it
Yeah,
was
she did a
great.
good job. I also Giovanni, did you ever watch the second end credit scene?
Yes, I did.
Those were oddly placed, in my opinion, but very effective. I mean,
Yeah.
Winston's makes sense because it sets up a sequel.
Yep.
The
The
second
one-
end credits is the old building, right?
Yeah, where he's in the old firehouse
Oh,
and the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
contamination thing starts glowing
Mhm.
red, which sets up a sequel, which is awesome. They were oddly played, but really heartfelt too.
Yes.
You know, they show Ernie Hudson's character Winston, and he's a different light. You know, he's that businessman, he's that power man,
Yeah.
but he's still kind of just reminiscing about being and like I don't know, there was some about those cameos, like her with her coin. You know, because she inexplicably really shows up, and the only thing you know is like, well, we talked on the phone. And then once they give you that scene, you're like, oh, okay, she was sentimental over him. She
was
loved
the
him.
she was the only person that kept in touch with him, even though.
Yeah. I appreciate that they show their relationship as fractured. You know, the whole Dan Aykroyd scene when he's just running this shithole occult shop that you find out with that second end credit that Ernie Hudson's actually bankrolling.
Oh, I gotta rewatch it and see if he has a bottle of his stupid.
I didn't see one. I was
I
maybe
didn't
on
see
the
any
shelf in the
skulls.
background. I was looking because that
You know, when they did a lot of references towards the movies, my 10-year-old, I've watched this movie in front of the kids, and I don't think any of them ever paid attention. And she goes, and when she would hear the lines delivered, she's like, "Wait a minute, is that like a throwback?" And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "What he just said right now." And I was like, "Yeah." And I thought I guess she only paid attention to like the key parts of the movie. So like when they did the "Who You Gonna Call" in the jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bokeem
So
Harding, or however you say his last name. I do like that actor ever since the big hit. Straight jacket seems
I will
mad
say-
green.
For me,
He was
every
also
time
Dead
it got
President.
to Finn Wolfhard and that gang of kids, like it was like, like, you know, I can care less.
Yeah, the little
I feel like
romantic
the-
relationship between him and the diner girl, I felt like I get it. I didn't need it.
Yeah, well, every time I saw it, I'm like, but I want to jump back to
Yeah.
what else is
Let's
good.
go. Let's go
Like,
see
yeah.
some Paul Rudd talking about the seismographs and everything.
They were trying to get a little bit of everybody's character in there. So like his character, the brother's character, was supposed to be like Bill Murray's character, where he's kind of smart, but he just wants to be dumb or some shit, or he wants to do dumb things.
Well, he's older and he's hitting 16. He's not, his interest is girls and
he failed
girls.
driver's ed 3 times.
He's an idiot.
Girls.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're, he clearly is, and they move into the middle of fucking nowhere in Oklahoma at this, frankly haunted home because
So
it is.
The dirt farmer.
One thing that I kept interrupting the movie, and I kept pointing to or turning to my wife and be like, "How is she paying the bills? How is she paying for gas? Like she has no
When-
income throughout
they-
the entire movie."
Yeah.
When they go to the diner and they bring back a stack of like burgers, I was like, how is she affording that? Like, I thought the same thing. Like, I thought they were dirt poor. on
Like,
the
how
dirt
did
farm.
she have gas to get from that place?
Well, she had money. She just wasn't paying bills.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is she was just not paying her rent. That's
Yeah,
she
she
saved
had the
a
money,
bunch.
but she wasn't paying the bills.
I've got
so then
$4
she's
grand
kind of
saved
a-
up. Why
she's
not?
She had,
Well,
to,
we don't.
she had to
piece of
feed
shit.
everybody.
She's kind of a piece of shit.
She is,
She's over here like, well, I've got $4 grand saved up, kids. Let's go across the country. And they're like, well, why do we have to do that? She's like, I didn't pay the fucking rent.
No, but
and then my wife is laughing at me because when she sees the pictures of Egon and
Crash said she
following
had an
her,
OnlyFans.
she's laughing because I'm like, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Like,
All right, so the
What
ending,
are you
like,
talking
I was
about?
really glad they gave that scene to the character, though. Like, that scene of, like, she realizes that the whole time he was really tracking her, knew everything she was doing, he loved her. Like, that the character really needed that scene, and I was very happy they gave it to her.
Yeah.
Yes, I was a little worried when the movie started because they painted him as a bad guy.
Right.
Like, and I was like, but
a
he's
deadbeat
dead. Why
dad.
would they
Well,
do
well,
this?
she even, the girl says, what was her name, Phoebe?
The granddaughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she even says, well, he wasn't crazy, and she goes, well, that means he's an asshole.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
the
it's like
mom said that, yeah.
if he wasn't crazy and he walked down on us, then that means in my eyes he was just a piece of shit. Then now wasn't he? Not obviously knowing. And then by the end of the movie, where you get to the fact that he's got the whole system rigged,
Yeah, that
that's
was like
where
a
the
gut
earthquakes,
punch.
and it's like, oh my god, he's the world's protector. Like literally, Spangler was the world's protector, and they murder him at the beginning of the movie. It's such a sad way to make the legacy grow, but it
know.
really is a great
It was
movie.
effective, though. It was effective.
It's one of the few movies in recent that kind of hit the heartstrings for me, especially like, so spoiler alert, it's Ghostbusters 1 again. They're bringing back Zool, and much more than that. That basically in Oklahoma, there's this volcano that has been used in rituals and things like that to essentially bring upon the army of the dead to the living world. And that's where it takes place. And so the whole idea is basically Spangler you see get murdered in the beginning of the movie. His family, who is estranged because he up and left him out of the blue when his daughter was young, inherits the home. So the whole concept is like, well, he's a piece of shit. He left us this piece of shit home and this dirt farm. And then as the layers kind of unravel, you realize that like Spangler did what he had to do to keep them safe, and he, and to keep the world safe essentially, because he discovered that
Even his own friends didn't believe what he was saying.
well, yeah, well, the problem was they do let you know that he stole shit, ran out, disappeared, and then it was like a decade later where he called Dan Aykroyd to explain what was going on, and by that the relationship was so fractured. Dan Aykroyd was like, "Fuck you, because I do love how they explore the fact that like for a short period in the '80s in this universe they were kings."
Yeah.
And a big part of it is them, Dan Aykroyd's whole spiel of like, and then hauntings slowed down, and then we couldn't pay the mortgage, and his whole thing is a very, very real, sort of struggle. Vet says he sacrificed his family to save the world. Yeah, and I would argue, it's a huge sacrifice. You sacrifice watching your daughter grow up, to make sure that these things didn't release. You knew that in 2021. And that part of me thinks that like he obviously rigged the entire house before death. He knew it was coming. He knew he couldn't stop Zool. He couldn't stop the entity.
He created the little safety box or whatever you call it, the puzzle box on the floor.
Is it Zool or Gozer? Isn't it Gozer?
Oh,
It's
Gozer.
Gozer.
Shit, sorry.
Gozer.
Gozer.
Zool is the
Second movie.
gatekeeper and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do even after the reveal of like her seeing the mom seeing the pictures of her as a little kid, like it like that like was a gut punch, but also like knowing that the mom's feeling of like still thinking her dad was an asshole like was also a gut punch, because like all of her feelings were still valid.
Yeah.
But then to have to be like, well, I hate him, but now I know what he was doing. Like it,
I do love once they rescue her from being inside the gargoyle dog thing. She's all in. She's like, he had all this whole room and all these he was tracking me. And they're like,
the kid, like, did you see the lights? All the computers? Yeah, the computers.
Everything. And they're like, well, we're gonna fight. We're fighting. And she's like, all right, I'm in. Well, how can I help? Vet says that as a parent would be harder than doing it for my country. Yeah, I mean, that really is kind of like, they only shine a light on that concept really at the end of the movie, but like, the guy gave up everything to save the world. Like, for what, 20, 30 years at this point?
Yeah.
You know, like that, and nobody. And then the worst part about it is nobody in the town liked him or appreciated. The mini Stay Puffs in Walmart, my favorite fucking scene. So one of the little details that I loved was when the first little Stay Puff guy comes out of the bag and he falls over and gets up. He's got the circular. He's got the little 4 holes from the shelf. The little indents. Oh man, the Stay Puft buddies. I wish there was more of them in that movie, or in this movie. I fucking found them so cute and hilarious.
My favorite scene in this movie is where Gozer asks Ray, "Are you a god?" And the other two are like, "Ray."
And he's like, he was about to go.
Yeah. I didn't understand why like the marshmallows were like. Why are they making themselves into s'mores? Like it just turned into like in the blender when they hit the one in the blender. Like the whole fucking Stay Puft scene in this one, amazing.
My oldest kid was like, "Wait, oh my god!" She's like, starts freaking out.
Yeah, it was.
The funny thing is because she loves s'mores, but she's seeing all these kids. These things.
But did you notice the one, like when they take the piece of chocolate on the one and they're blowtorching it, the smile, the one that's laying on the graham crackers, he's just so happy to become a fucking s'more. Like what the hell? That's what they're made to do.
Honestly, you can remove all of the Ghostbusters part, change the name of the title, and if this was a movie just about Gary Gooberson, I would be signed up for it too.
Right? Like, give me that guy's origin story.
So good.
Can you imagine if they did that, where they did a fucking indie Paul Rudd comedy, and the whole time it's about that character, and they make no connection until the end when like his movie ends when he meets her in the doorway in school.
They do the Marvel thing at the end credits where it says like Doctor Strange will return.
Gary Goober will return in 2023. It's a sequel to Already It, brother.
The mom tells her, "I'm going out to dinner tomorrow with your teacher, Mr. Gooberson." She's like, "Who?" And she's like, Gary Gooberson. She's like, "That's his name." Like Gary Gooberson.
All the scenes with him and Phoebe were also like a gut punch for me because like clearly like he knows like this kid is like special and smart.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't even faze him that he's just interested in what she's talking about.
Well, it also shows in the dinner later too when he's like, "She's awesome. She's so smart." Yeah. Like the mothers over here kind of just like, "Oh, this little fucking bitch is really giving me a hard time." And he's like, "What are you talking about? She's fucking great. She's smart. She's amazing." And she's like, "Yeah, but God damn, would I like her to talk to me about something other than
I would like for her to get in trouble. Yeah.
Electricity. Yeah, you should have a little fun." He's like, "There's still plenty of time for that."
And then she does get in trouble.
And they yell at her.
And she yells at her. But he's over there like,
well, he knows. Like, he's the only one that's giving her the time of the day on her level of like,
"Excuse me,
I believe you." Like, I don't think you're just some dumb little kid.
It's Gooberson who, like, "Oh my God, do you know what this is? Oh my God, is this real?
That's an awesome replica.
That's an awesome replica. Yeah.
He is he really, through his dialogue, really is the biggest connecting tissue of just like him. He's the one who recognizes everything, shows them the YouTube clips. You know,
I don't think I've ever seen Paul Rudd in anything that he did not actually help progress in a movie. I like a role that he's played where he didn't actually. Really,
he was
really
in that
contribute.
movie, Good Old Fashioned Orgy, with Jennifer Aniston, and I just don't remember liking that movie at all.
One of my favorite movies with him is
Role Models?
This is 40.
This is 40. Role Models is also you're just talking about good movies he's done in the past 15, 20, since Knocked Up, we'll say. It's been a string. I mean, Anchorman, both those, Knocked Up, and then he hit the Marvel phase. Like, he was, and this guy, he's not young. He doesn't look any day. He goes back to fucking Clueless and all that shit. Mm-hmm. And he still looks virtually the same. Like, they have to dress Paul Rudd down for movies.
I think him, John Krasinski, and Ryan Reynolds all drink baby's blood at Bohemian Grove.
Can you imagine that goddamn movie? We get a movie with those three fucking dudes in it, an action movie, action comedy. Like, come on.
Yeah, I could just be them making out, and I'd watch. I'd be fine with that.
I have that VHS.
How about the new triplets instead of twins?
No, not going to do that.
Are they still trying to do that?
I don't think so.
The movie was called The Good Old Fashioned Orgy, and I believe it was about Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston going to this like camp
Tea
sort of
party.
thing that was like a free spirit, you know, like sex kind of camp. And the whole thing was them to have fun because the relationship had gotten stale. I just didn't find it funny. Is the problem I had with it. He still lives in Kansas. Why would you want to live in Hollywood? I mean, if you've got money, why would you want to live in Chicago or New York? Why? Go get some fucking land. Like, he's smart.
I don't know. That's like Dave Chappelle, I think, lives in Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah, did you see that video of him threatening to pull all of his... Because I guess he's got investments. He's trying to build essentially an area for entertainment and everything, and they're trying to build low-income housing, and he basically told them, if you fucking do this, my shit's irrelevant, so I'm pulling all funding out. He loves his little small town, and will not take bullshit. Idaho or New Mexico? Fair enough. I'd go probably down in your wing area, in the Texas area, maybe. Although, I don't know, here's the truth of it. I like Utica, Illinois. That's where I'd go. I'd go buy a bunch of land and just enjoy the smaller town life that we've never had.
Build fucking tunnels.
I'm okay with that. Not an ant, though. It's called a survival shelter. And you'll be traveling to my survival bunker when shit goes down, so. Just saying. It's a 70-mile drive, I'm just saying. Oh shit, you're from the north side. No, it's more like 90. Drive fast.
I have no problem doing that.
Especially in the... Believe me, if the apocalypse is going on, there is no fucking...
speeding tickets to prove it.
There is no fucking... Was it Cloudcroft? I'll have to look that up. Cloudcroft, New Mexico. Yeah, no, Lewis is right. This movie, it is... You really have to go into it like, oh, it's not going to be good. It's fuck this new movie to hate this movie. Like, there's a lot of charm in it. There's a lot of nostalgia in it. It's a fun movie.
You kept saying, I really want to hate this movie because the three of you
I did. I was really hoping... I was also hoping to hate Candyman, because I presumed all three of you enjoyed that. But, it's because just for the argument's sake. Yeah. Like, just so we can have an episode where I'm like, nah, you're fucking wrong. That movie's trash. But once again, two movies I can't do that with.
Yeah, well, I mean, this Ghostbusters is like this weird enigma for me, because it literally has all of the things I hate that movies are doing, and it just somehow worked for me. Me.
It did them right, though. I mean...
It did. Yeah.
You get a fair amount of action. The CG's well done. The stakes are high. You get a great cameo by the original cast. All of them, for the most part. All the ones that mattered.
They still kept the comedy with it. That was actually good.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoebe was a great little main character. I didn't hate the mother. I didn't hate the brother. I could do away with you hanging out with his friends and the whole romantic thing. I also like small town atmosphere. I like the fact that the central hub hangout was a little fucking drive up burger shop.
Yeah.
This movie does the small town atmosphere right. It does the Ghostbusters feel. Like, the soundtrack was brilliant.
Yes. Amazing.
Yes.
They did things that, if done wrong, they would have sucked. Like, the whole Walmart scene in general was great. And and here's the thing. As soon as it started chasing him, I was like, he's Rick Moranis. Yeah. And that's what it should do. It shouldn't go, hey, by the way, he's gonna be No, you should by yourself be kind of like, oh, okay, they're gonna make him the key master.
But he wasn't the dorkier version, which I like that.
It did kind of bum me out. Rick Moranis didn't come back for a mini cameo.
I think he just didn't want to, or he wasn't able to. I don't know.
I mean, I would ask, where would he fit? Like, what
in the small town, it wouldn't make sense.
He could be at Walmart getting punched again in the face.
Well, at the end of one of the, he was what's her name's boyfriend Rick. At the time, right? The girl who
neighbor. Oh, with the yeah, they were dating at the end of the second one, or in the second one, weren't they?
It's just, I mean, he stopped acting to take care of his kids, and then he finally gets in the spotlight a couple years back because he gets randomly decked by some dude walking down the street.
In this series, though, I would bring him back as like, you know what I mean? I would either have him be one of the like, I talk to ghosts people for you. Or
that would be so good.
Or you have him be like a YouTube ghost hunter star, like Zach Baggins and shit like that. Like, I think if you have him in there, No, man, you gotta have it so like he's completely like just fried from everything that happened.
He's
And-
almost like a Alex Jones.
Yes,
like,
yes. Make him an
Goofy.
Alex Jones of like ghosts in the
Ghosts are
paranormal.
real.
Yeah, like they're putting it in the water. Like make him fucking just do that. Like I think that would be brilliant, but I don't think he'd ever do it.
He's living in an airstream
No.
on top of a hill.
The last thing he did was a country album.
Really?
Yeah, have you never heard it?
No.
Yeah, he's got a
I didn't know
country
he-
album. That was
he
the
went
last thing
into,
he made.
music.
Well, he had that. I mean, that came out. I think. I mean, it's under a decade ago.
Was it a Canadian country album?
Well, he's Canadian and it's country. So, what's Canadian country?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Talking about blue jeans and I don't know.
I think that's just country. I
The
think
Tim
country
Hortons
is,
closed and
got my boots on. Like, I think it's just all the same shit.
Canadian tuxedo.
We ready to wrap this one up? We got more to go with it. What do you guys? Anything else you'd like to say about it? I mean, I loved it.
I did too. It's great.
I loved it too. I was talking with my wife about like this movie gave me the same nostalgia as the movies I grew up with, and she's like, if you had to pick like 3 movies that define your childhood, what are they?
Oh,
I was like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, and with each one I said, she was like, and I was like RoboCop, and she's like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
So mine would be Terminator 2, RoboCop, and like what age up to what age are we talking?
I'd say probably up to like 8th grade ish.
I mean, I think it was still all Schwarzenegger at that point.
Mine
Like,
would be
steeped in the 80s violent action movies.
Ghostbusters, RoboCop. I as soon as you said RoboCop, I completely understood you. It's like, yep, RoboCop.
And obviously we all watch different shit, but like just like you tell me childhood 3 movies list off the top of your head is just like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, RoboCop.
Well, you see the
RoboCop.
odd
And
thing,
what's
right?
that one you
Different
guys
for me.
reviewed with Sylvester Stallone and oh my god, the guy who played Blade.
Wesley
Demolition Man.
Man.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Demolition Man.
Demolition.
Yeah.
Demolition Man for me.
Oh god, I want to watch that movie again so bad, dude.
That's
and I don't
so
think Jen
good.
can take another viewing. I think it's
You
gonna have to
guys-
be a late night
You
movie.
guys are like on another fucking level on mine. So for me, it's like Beastmaster. Because
Okay.
those were the only things that I fucking saw back then.
Fucking
A lot of the Corey's movies.
Breakdancing or Beat Street. So the 2 dance fucking movies, and then I can't even think of a third one.
I'm surprised you're not saying the sexy vampire movie.
Yeah, but what-
Lost Boys?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but I wasn't.
Yeah, but
wasn't a kid then.
what decade? I mean, what era are you talking? Because like, here's the thing: you're talking the '80s, right?
But you're saying from when you were a kid? Is it from from your timeline,
Well,
or what you saw?
Just any
'Cause me
3
growing
or
up as
even
a
5
kid-
movies.
Me growing up as a kid, we didn't have cable at first, so it was always watching movies on Channel 9. It was Beat Street. It was Beastmaster. It was
I watched a lot of Lorenzo Lamas. I'll tell you that much.
Jesus.
I watched a lot of MASH.
but
I didn't watch
that's
much
like a lot of
MASH.
shit that was
I-
on.
See, when MASH was on, Three Stooges was usually on. And I would always watch Svengoolie with his white man's neck.
I fucking love Svengoolie.
Yeah. See, I was a Three Stooges guy. I still am.
Is
Me too,
Fanguli
yeah.
alive?
I think he's
Yes.
still alive. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is
still
he,
alive.
1,000
Richard
years
Coz?
old?
Well,
No, he still does his show on Saturdays.
he was doing
Still
the
alive, still goes to
on
conventions.
on Channel 26. He was doing the Three Stooges. He would like intro the episodes like this short is blah blah blah. Remember when
But
I
he did
first
it
saw
as
it, I was
Steve
like,
Coz, right?
I was
Not
like, yeah,
Svengoolie?
no, he did it as Kaz, and I was like, is that fucking
Yeah.
Svengoolie? And my mom's like,
Yeah.
I think so, and it's like, holy fuck, it's Svengoolie and his normal people.
Is it Richard
gear.
Coz or Steve Coz? I can't remember.
Richard, I don't know. I don't fucking
Richard.
know. I don't know. It's
Trying to
old,
I know it's
old
Kaz.
dude.
Fucking age. He's
Gotta be in his 60s or 70s.
He does a lot of meet and greets at fucking PetSmarts, just so you know.
That's a
And,
What?
and on the south side. No,
weird
because he
place
tries to bring
see.
awareness to fucking, pets that need to be adopted.
Oh,
When MASH
And
went on, I
euthanasia.
knew it was time to go to sleep. Yeah, I didn't watch much MASH either. Fabian went to bed. But Fabian goes to sleep during a lot of things, though, to be fair.
I mean,
no,
I still
shows
had- I
growing
had
up
a
for
black
me
and white
was
TV, so
Twilight
come on.
Zone and Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah,
Tales of the
shows for
Crypt,
me,
we didn't have
those
cable,
things.
so I didn't get to watch that until it was already done.
Funny story, and I'm going to tell
You guys
it
never had a
live.
black and white TV though, right?
No,
We did, yeah.
No, but I'm like you yourself.
We had one in the
That
house until
That was one of my first TVs. Was a black and white TV, and that's how I got fucking that fucking video. That video instead of before MTV, where you would have to change it to channel 13 and watch the music videos and fucking dial in. To
Yeah,
fucking...
Alex was born in 1910.
Yeah, I had a little one that like had a hook on it that went on my. We had bunk beds, and it went on the top,
You could suspend
and it was this little tiny
Yeah,
little
bunk
one.
beds.
I would watch cartoons in the morning in black and white on that to not wake
Yeah,
anybody and get
we
beat.
had the boob tube CRT.
So
TVs.
we had a boob tube in our room. Anthony got the top bunk. Funny story, including bunk beds and Tales from the Crypt. So one night, I wake up, Tales from the Crypt is on. I'm on the bottom bunk. I'm freaking out, and I remember this perfectly. I'm calling my mother, who slept in the room down the hall,
Yeah, it was
upstairs.
down
Well,
into
yeah,
the
down the room. And I'm calling her because I'm scared. Tales from the Crypt is on. We slept with
Channel
our
9
TV
was
on.
the best.
Anthony, who was sleeping on the top bunk, had his guard removed earlier in the day, and I can't remember why the guard was removed. And I remember
I think I remember your mom talking about how he was old enough now.
I think that's
Like
I
the
think
whole
that's
thing
what it
was she
I
just-
know the guard
enough
was
to
gone.
die.
She decided he was old enough now.
And Tales from the Crypt, the theme song is rolling. I'm calling my mom to come turn off the TV because I'm scared. And Anthony's body comes from the top of the bunk, right off in front of me, hits the floor. He doesn't even get up.
He
He just
did.
rolls off the
I
top
died.
bunk, hits the floor.
His
I
soul
pissed
left his
myself.
body upon
I
impact.
completely pissed myself in bed. My mom finally gets up and then proceeds to beat my ass because I'm the one making noise at night and I pissed the bed. And then she's yelling at me at why he's on the floor. Why is he on the floor? Like, but his full body, perfectly laid flat, just comes rolling off the top of the bunk right in front of me.
He used to do that, and your other brother used to do that, where Ruben, where they would both roll off the fucking whatever they're sleeping on. So Grandpa used to push the basket with clothes next to them while they're sleeping, so they would roll off into the clothes instead of the floor. I remember that shit.
Jeez, it scared the shit out of me, dude. Damn it.
Yeah, when I was younger and I heard that Danny Elfman Tales from the Crypt theme, man, I'd almost shit my pants every fucking time. I'd watch until he like almost got out of the crypt, and then I'd be like, nah, I'm out.
The Ultimate Warrior fucking talking would fucking send you off.
Yeah, I was a scared kid, and now I love horror, which is weird.
I was scared of my father, so not much horror movies got to me in that. Like I don't remember being scared of anything as a kid except for getting beat more.
I was telling my wife the other day, we were driving, and we're kind of going on a tangent, but whatever, fuck it. We were driving, and we got into a conversation of like, she asked me, she's like, have you ever been in any major accidents? And I was like, yeah. And I told her the one, which I don't know if we've told on the podcast. We went to drive to someone's party. Fuck you, Nadine, if you're watching.
Fucking Nadine.
And on the way home, we played pinball with a semi truck. And she had asked me, she's like, well, were you guys okay? And I'm like, whatever. Yeah. We came home, and she's like, well, what was your parents' reaction? And I was like, we all got our asses whooped. Like, as soon as we got out of the car, it was like, are you okay? Yeah. Smack, like hit in the ribs. I was like, you don't understand growing up.
So
in our neighborhood, you got your asses beat.
So your coming home was slightly different than mine, but not by much. So that weekend was my high school graduation party.
Oh, yeah.
And I had family in town, white trash family, who we don't speak to anymore. And so my parents didn't answer the phone. So like we're on the side of the expressway. This big bodied blazer is in the crash test dummy was with us, is in the median facing the train tracks. I'm calling Jeremy's mom, who was the driver, answered, and she's amazing. Her first thing was like, "Are you okay? Calm down." My parents didn't answer the fucking phone, right? So then I get home, and Jeremy's mom wanted to talk to my parents. So I had to literally go in the house and wake them up. Unbeknownst to me, my aunt was passed out in the bathroom.
Oh.
So I wake them up. My mom's talking to Jeremy's mom, and then my dad comes out, and he's like, your goddamn drunk sister's fucking passed out in the bathroom. I can't even take a piss. And he was just like, what? And he's just like, what the fuck's going on? Just angry. Just angry.
Goes there and pisses all over her while she's sitting on this.
So
He pissed on her.
now, in the accident, I had, I'm pretty sure, at least a minor fracture in my sternum.
But also, we should add, like, the frame of the truck was buckled, and Matt was in the front passenger seat.
I almost lost my arm because so I had my arm out the window, and I looked over, and this wall of white was quickly approaching, and it was an 18-wheeler with a trailer.
You're lucky you didn't.
And I tucked my arm in, and then sure enough, bing bang, my glasses were oddly enough folded under my seat. Somehow in the impact, they just were like, hey buddy, we got you, no problem. And just fucking went under my seat. I remember finding them
I
like...
bet you it was you that took him off and put him down there without even knowing.
No. Jeremy says I was punching him. I don't remember doing that.
No, without saying Matt's just like... Jeremy's like, what are you doing? Just get ready.
and it was just such a fucking cluster, man, I swear. I had a lot of pain in my chest. Yeah, Anthony was holding
a baseball bat.
So we were on the south side of Chicago, and we were literally in a gas station, and we're watching a drug deal go down. And Jeremy had a bunch of us from softball. So Lewis was holding an aluminum bat at the time that he got in the chest. The seatbelt fucked up my chest to the point of the next morning. My mom still woke me up and was like, your party's today, go put up fucking tables. And just the lifting of tables, like my chest was just like, I didn't bench press for 6 months after. Because my sternum was fucked.
I felt like I had a bruised rib. That fucking bat. I can't watch baseball to this day. No, just kidding.
That was, Lewis thought he was on the tracks. He was like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Get out of the fucking car, man.
It's weird when your car is moving
facing
and
them.
You look out the side window and you see the way the road should be going for a brief second. And your life doesn't flash before your eyes. You're just like, okay. Like
no, I remember as soon as we stopped, I go, is everybody okay? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, get the fuck out of the car. And Lewis was like, we're on the tracks. We need to get out. I was like, because my worry was someone was going to fucking fishtail us.
Yeah.
And spin the... So I was like, we need to get out of the car. And we all jumped up on the median because we were in a lane and a half of... I mean, the left lane and the... at least half of the next lane we were taking up. It was a brutal fucking wreck. And I remember Jeremy being like, my fucking car! And I remember looking at him like, yeah, we're okay.
Do you guys remember that you didn't call your mom, you called my dad? Because I think at the time you guys were staying at our house.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
And my dad woke me up. He goes, Alex. I'm like, what? He goes, Anthony was in an accident. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I'll be right back. And I was like, okay. Like, he just left me with that.
My people need me.
Rolled out.
Let's go.
He just rolled out. And I'm like, what the fuck am I... What was the point of waking me up?
Jeremy's mom did him dirty because my party was the next day and she made him take the fucking bus.
No.
Like I remember he was late as shit and he's like, sorry I'm late, I had to take the bus. And I was like, she didn't give you a fucking ride? And he's like, nah.
I forgot how the bus works. I forgot that I had to do time.
Oh, but he just destroyed his car the night before and she made him bus it to the party.
I felt bad.
Hey,
for
as a
Matt,
parent,
though,
that's okay.
Shit.
I did feel bad for him, but I mean, Jeremy was also the type. I remember the one time it was really fucking icy out, and it was late, and we had gone around to cruise to smoke and probably get food, and we were coming from Addison onto Claremont, and he took it too fast. I remember telling him, I go, slow the fuck down, and he didn't, and so he takes it too fast. The car out of control, and then it just slightly like hit the bumper of this parked car. And he goes, go, Jeremy, go, get the fuck out of here. And he backed up and took the, like, it didn't do any damage, but he's just like, he took the fuck, it's 1 a.m, take the fuck off. He was that type of dude. Like, I remember for 6 months, I told him, every time I get in your car, it smells like fucking gasoline. Like, we're gonna die in this thing. No, man, it's fine. And then it was like a month later, he's like, yeah, I need to get all my gas lines replaced. They're rusting through. And I was like, you literally have us in a bomb. Like, we're driving in a bomb.
What year was the Bronco?
It was, I think, a 93 big body Blazer.
Yeah.
Blazer.
Yeah, and then he eventually had
the frame was almost like...
You could see where it was just
was
like...
that before or after the crash?
After the crash.
After, yeah. Before... do you remember... No, it was done. And I remember also the really big kick in the nuts for him was he just got those woofers put in it too. Because I remember that entire night, he was, I think, playing Party Like a Rock Star because it had a fucking section of it. And that was the other thing, yeah. And I remember him being like, well, I pulled my speakers out.
I remember too the dude in the IDOT truck or whatever the fuck it is, the like tow truck.
The tow truck, yeah.
Expressway. He's like, yeah, you know, a lot of people die.
Yeah, most people die on that corner.
Cool, man. I'm having an existential crisis. That's gonna help me right now. Like,
Fabian had a
fucking go to that goddamn party.
Either did I, dude. Fabian's ass hurt him for like a day, and then I remember talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I'm over here like, "Oh, cool. I can't move my chest at all.
It hurts to breathe."
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, those are some of our fucking not so fun adventures. That's how far we go back to those. I try to explain in the stream. We've known each other. Alex has known me when I was sperm. And I've known these two since essentially...
three of you when you were sperm.
Since essentially birth, so...
Yeah, Matt's dad walking around just like, hey, Alex, I got a friend for you in the balls.
Alex just like looks at his crotch. Hello, Matt. Then looks my dad in the eye, and Dad's just like, what the fuck? You know I'm going to name him that. I don't.
He
name
doesn't
my
know me, but he will.
Yeah, your son will know me good. It's like, what? All right, let's give this movie some fucking gunshots or whatever. Let's start with Lewis since he got pigeonholed last time.
Yeah, another 5. I want to watch all 3 of them in a row. I think it'd be fun to do it in a weekend. They're just like fun, fucking heartfelt movies. I think even if you had not seen the originals, which I don't know why you would have, I think this movie kind of still holds up. Like it's just a fun fucking movie.
Well, they do kind of bring you along for the ride of like, if you haven't seen the originals, they do give you a little bit of discovery in the film of it.
Yeah, it introduces them, and even with the little videos because I mean it's 2 hours long, so they were able to cover it all.
It does make me wonder though if Harold Ramis was alive, if he would even if he would want to do this movie with Dan Aykroyd.
I mean, was their relationship
did they have a real
all that fractured? I don't know. I mean, I think they did as writing partners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they did write the first 2 together.
Yeah, what Dan Aykroyd had
said, technically like, first 3 if you consider the video game part of it.
Dan Aykroyd has blatantly said like a long time ago, like Ramis was kind of a piece of shit. And I know Ramis was close with Bill Murray because I think he's a godfather to one of his daughters.
Well, I hear he's a piece of shit too, though, Bill Murray.
Yeah, but I mean,
what are we defining piece of shit by? Egotistical?
Yeah, egotistical. Yeah.
I mean, I don't define. I mean,
that's Bill Murray, though.
I mean, okay, so yeah, Giovanni actually is right. That's society's fault, right? Because we put Bill Murray on this pedestal, and it's like, I don't know. He's been in Hollywood for how many years? He doesn't want to be fucked with.
But he doesn't. He doesn't have a lot of people talking shit about him. But he does have people saying that he's not a very nice person.
Mainly coming from the Charlie's Angels set.
Yeah,
I mean like a younger Dan Aykroyd and Ramis. Like Ramis at the time he was notorious for being like kind of a dickhead to work with.
Yeah,
but he was a smart dude. But it does make me wonder if he was still alive if they do this movie. And it also makes me like question using dead people in movies. There's like a weird conversation you can have about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really towed a line here by like only when he is alive in the first 3 minutes, they show him only in the shadows. You never see his actual face.
You never see the whole face either.
Which I took as respect.
decades from now, we are gonna have full blown movies with entirely dead people, which is kind
I
of
can
cool,
totally see
but
that.
also creepy. It's
Yeah,
like
you'll be seeing
it's
John
like,
Wayne in 2064.
it's like a it's like we're going into Black Mirror. It's weird, and you can have a whole like conversation on that. But yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Well, that also brings up the idea of like Fast and the Furious, right? Like Vin Diesel just made it known that Paul Walker, or at least his character, Brian, will be back. I think his tweet was something like, Angels will be joining the next one. So
like Charlie's Angels.
They're gonna be
No,
on his
like-
shoulder.
like,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
be on
have-
Vin Diesel's shoulder.
no, I think what they're gonna do is they're just gonna have a charred corpse in the passenger side.
Jesus Christ.
I'm your
God
wingman.
damn it.
I've already discussed. I don't feel bad for
it's
Paul
like
Walker.
the charred corpse from Beetlejuice.
Well, no, I think what they're going to do is they're going to have his brother do the body work, and they'll put those dots all over his face, and you'll have a weird CG Paul Walker in it.
It's just it's weird. It's like an uncanny valley, and I think we're gonna have full blown movies with dead people.
Well, okay, he's not dead, but does anybody watch Goldbergs?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I haven't finished it, but I know.
so one of the last episodes of this season is the one girl's wedding, Erica's wedding, right?
Well,
So Jeff Garlin has been his contention. He was either fired or left.
You got
but-
Me Too.
No, it was more like he was just kind of a dick. But the way he explained it was he was just fucking with people. So I don't know. I think I don't think it's anything sexual. I think it's, sensitivity piling up, and
yeah.
he's an old school comedian. I mean,
They
I think he was kind of like, fuck it, I fuck with people. It is what it is.
they did say that the reason why they ended up doing the whole CGI face on people's bodies was because he was being very difficult about just trying to rework it, to shoot it, to end it. And he was like, he's like, I'm not gonna fucking do it. Fuck you.
Well, he didn't
Which,
want
okay,
to come
I
back for
can
another
understand.
season. He did say that openly, but watching the episode, literally for half the episode, the only shots of him you get are clearly formerly filmed shots of him in his chair.
Yeah, they
Doesn't
said
say
that
a goddamn
they
word.
said
There's
that
no dialogue.
They said that he didn't want to work with them about finishing it. He just
Wait, so they
He
just
was being
CGI
difficult.
him?
So
they-
here's
they
here's the
CGI 'd
worst
his
part,
face.
right? It's
Does it
her
look weird?
terrible. It's her wedding, and you don't get any front shots of him. Every time you see him, it's his back or the stunt double's back toasting, and then there's one 3-second shot where she's up at the altar and they're doing their thing, and they pan to him, and it's like CGI Jeff Garlin on some dude's body, and it's so fucking awkward, dude. Like, it's terrible. Fucking terrible. And Jen and I love that show, and it's just almost like Godfather, where it's just like, look what they done to my boy. Like, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? This is terrible. End the show. Like,
And then
either
they just write him off, or
that's the thing is, then I thought that was the season finale. It's not. The next episode is basically he's at a furniture salesman convention, and Beverly is living a singles life in Erica's apartment. It is the weirdest fucking just complete shift, and it's terrible.
it's kind of like how when Roseanne got fucked, and you're like, she's dead now.
She had a pill problem. It's like, what in the fuck?
Oh man.
That is not my favorite episode because I loved Pops.
damn Crash.
Seriously, talk about
What a
me
fucking
being
dick.
dark, you fucking morbid twat. Joking.
He said his favorite episode was the grandfather died.
It's a very touching episode, and the first thing I think I ever saw Pops from was he was the actual father of Kirstie Alley's baby in Look Who's Talking.
Oh yeah, oh shit, that's right.
That I think that's my first memory of him. With that said, we got to get this fucking review done. Giovanni,
I'll go next.
5 out of 5. We got Alex. We got Lewis texts us. He's like, just FYI, it's 5 for both.
Yeah, this is gonna be a 5 for me too. I really enjoyed it. All the characters were fucking really good. I think the whole thing about the son relationship was just to have some kind of, because he's supposed to be really popular in Stranger Things right now, so they're trying to give him something just to keep him
it's because
going.
all the girls are coming for Finn.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was. But I fucking love podcast. I love Phoebe. I love fucking Gary. Those three were like just the shit.
You
for me
fucked
when they were-
Gary?
Alex wants to fuck everyone in this movie.
Gary, yes. Gary, yes. No.
Not to cut you off, but the scene after he's been taken over and she comes walking and he's just like, and the way he gets up, he's just kind of like, and then in the distorted voice, he's like, "I like your eyes." Like it's still like awkward, fucking like flirting.
and that's what I like that too is the chemistry between the two of them. It was like really awkward flirting, and it was very comedic, and it kept
which makes sense because he's a fucking nerd.
Yeah, and it kept the whole Ghostbusters comedy alive because back in the '80s, that Ghostbusters was comedy what they did, and this is comedy now. Is a little bit of smart comedy, which
Bill Murray at the end, he's like, "We're gonna, I thought we were over. We're gonna, this is really gonna, and he's Venkman, like he's right back into it. It's fucking just great. And then
they all had their characters. It was still pretty good. I like
when Spangler, the Ghost Spangler, is helping her aim, and they all kind of like look over at him, like, what the fuck, like Ernie Hudson's the first to be like, huh, like it's Ghost Spangler.
I that's the only part that was kind of weird to me was when the three of them kept doing their little look over. It was kind of like off time, like it was like one's gonna look, and then the next one looks, and then the two of them look, and then the last one looks. It was just like weird, like they weren't all in the same scene. They were all shot at a green screen and then put together.
I think that whole thing was green screen is part of the problem.
No, but I mean like each individual person wasn't even on set with the person. Because they all kind of like make this face at every different time where they didn't even look around.
I didn't
even look around the person.
Maybe Ernie wanted to be there, Bill didn't, and Dan Aykroyd they kicked off the set for not shutting the fuck up.
Right.
About
He's
the
just
crystal
drunk.
vodka,
I gotta get fucking skull vodka.
I wore a dick nose in the movie Nothing But Trouble.
We don't talk about that movie anymore.
I love it
so good.
I still have to release the trailer for it, but I'm gonna retool it completely. Use different footage.
No, but it is a 5 for me. I like how, like I said earlier, they didn't give Egon a voice. I like that they kept him quiet, but it just his facial expressions was actually him. I liked it. I think the hair was a little too much for an old man, but I like everything
fun of
they
Jewish
did.
people.
No, I'm saying like how he had his hair.
The other problem is he later in life had longer hair. And they were like, if you ever see him from like Knocked Up, he's got longer hair.
Yeah, was it like curly though, like a little curlier?
Okay. Yeah. So they were trying to keep the Spangler cut type thing, and it was much. The haircut the Ghost had was much more of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's haircut from Commando.
It was kind of like a young guy meets the old guy, which that's the only part I didn't like about it. But I did like what they did to kind of like pay respects to Harold Ramis for that. Yeah, so it is a 5 for me, and I really did enjoy it. And like Giovanni said earlier, I did get a little teary-eyed at the beginning and at the end. It was just kind of like because I know that.
Yeah, the ending caught me up a little bit too. Yeah, I was just like, fuck, because like the moment he like starts helping her.
Yeah,
I was
the moment he grabbed the shooter, I was like, God damn it!
Because once again, the guy's dead, so it's like, fuck.
When that happened, my youngest daughter goes, "Is that like Harry Potter?" And I was like, "Shut up!" I was like, "Don't do that right now."
Totally.
And my wife
don't
made
do
fun
that
of
right
me
now.
Again,
I was like,
I'm
yes.
watching it, and as soon as he reaches out, I stand up I'm standing up from the couch. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna show him. And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
I don't know why either, but that
like
that
when you got
part
your tongue pierced, Giovanni?
That part hit me too. Who's got to give Alex? Gunshots.
He just went
5.
Giovanni, do I have to guess?
5 ghost dogs.
It's a 5. It's an easy 5. And it's funny because if you watch all 3 Ghostbusters, for the Ghostbusters themselves, it's a sad fucking story. They literally lose everything by the end.
I do like the credit scenes. The one with Sigourney Weaver and Venkman is I loved. I do love it showing them together on top of it, which is the best.
Yeah.
I love him getting shocked.
Yeah. I really like the Ernie Hudson final, which actually leads into the scene that kind of sets up a sequel if they do one.
I hope they do.
I really do too. This movie, this one is a 5 for me. Probably because of the nostalgia factor. This is a straight 5 for all 4. Yeah, I love this movie quite a bit. Yeah, I wish more movies, if they're gonna do reboots and shit. Like, I think both of these are incredible what do we call them?
Rebrand.
Series reboot
How
sequels.
about rebrand?
There's something I'd like to say. The director of Welcome to Resident Evil. This is what happens when somebody loves the source material, knows the history, and puts it together as a true fan. Okay.
Wait. I thought as a fan I was just supposed to cram visual bullshit from all
Now
the
you have
video
to clip
games.
that.
He
and then
shows up
tag
on the
fucking
Zoom call.
director. Clip that.
How the
and-
fuck did
and
you get
tag
in
the
here? I
director.
can get it anywhere I need to. I'm the fucking director of that garbage movie. Like I said, like we talked about, if that wasn't a Resident Evil movie, though, I probably would have enjoyed it.
If
quite
you
a
can
bit.
clip that, Matt, and send it to me,
Sure
I will
thing.
find his Twitter account and I will tweet him the video.
Sure thing. With a link to the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
You should watch this.
There you go.
All right, we're
Real
done.
fan.
You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with some Guardians of the Galaxy.
You.
You are playing that tomorrow.
The three of us will see you next week, guys. Hang out for a couple minutes so we can figure out. Oh no, are you guys jumping over into the Discord?
Yes. Skyrock says
Yeah, I see. Jump into the Discord so we can figure out next. Thank you,
Thanks,
Vet.
Vet.
As always, buddy. You're always hanging out with us.
Thank you, Crash.
We are gonna raid Damsel streaming. I hope. I presume. She's doing Phasma. All right, let's raid.
Speaking of which,
Damsel.
did you hear about that new Ghostbusters game? That's
That's basically
Phasmophobia?
well, Phasma meets Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, to be honest with you. If it's good. I actually, though, before that, am more looking forward to the Evil Dead game. That's I want to play that Evil Dead game really fucking badly. Also, did you guys see that HBO Max later this year will have the new Evil Dead movie? It has been rated R for strong language and violence and gore and whatnot, even though it's not Bruce Campbell's not in it, but they're all kind of affiliated.
Wait,
with it. He's done. He's not Ash anymore. He's done. We're gonna go ahead and raid Damsel. Damsel's an amazing streamer. She's doing Phasmo right now. Hang out for a little bit if you can, guys. Give her some love. If not, I completely understand. But let's go say hi to her.
And thank you everybody who joined us tonight.
Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Everybody, if you're bored in the morning and you're part of the Discord, come on, hang out. Let's have a chat. Until then, let's say hi. And unmute her.
There it goes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. You know what we didn't do is look for the bone. Nerdattude,
Did you guys want to map out the movies for April?
timing.
Or no, we already did.
We're good. Let me just end my stream once again because it's still doing its
Hello
thing
guys,
until I
how
end
are
mine.
you?